What's going on, fellow fanatics, fellow back of the busters, fellow mongers? How is everybody doing? Fellow Pantheon streamers, how are all of you guys doing this evening?
Hello,
We
hello,
appreciate all you guys
hello.
being here. We've got, I think, a good show set up for you guys this evening. We're going to do some call-ins, see what you guys think on. I think, are we doing call-ins? I'm talking.
I would love to do call-ins if time permits, but yeah, I say yeah.
Yeah, if time permits, we'll do call-in, see what you guys are thinking on the Aaron Pierre being cast as John Stewart. We're also going to get into, I know one of the topics before we get into the main topics that Marcus wanted to talk about was J. Cole's newest verse or song, right?
It's a song, yeah.
His newest song.
It's a new song.
And then we were going to get into possibly, if again, time permitting, a tier list and just do the Marvel series. And of course, the topics there: Cap 4 is bombing in the test screenings. That's rumored wise. We might skip over, and if we do talk about who we want to be the cast in the Batman role in DCU, that's maybe like a 4 or 5 minute conversation, if that. And then, of course, we'll talk about what Jodie Turner-Smith had to say against Lucasfilm. But before we get into any of that tonight, Marcus, how have you been since last time we saw you?
Great. Been doing all right, man. Still here. How's everybody else?
Well, every day I wake up and I'm not the Dre Max show, I'm happy.
Good. Just busy.
Hey, everyone can call in but him, okay?
That's crazy. Podcast beef is interesting.
The podcast beef.
Do you drop
Right.
like instead of a diss track? Do you drop like a diss stream? Like you should just stream for 30 minutes dissing Dre Mac
With chapters. Everyone needs to know which chapter is which.
Not chapters.
Hey, bro, I was just in a talking space either yesterday or the day before yesterday with Blue, and we had a very good time.
See, Blue's deceptive because he'll make you sound like, everything's friend. But then at the end of a stream where you guys just chopped it up nicely and cordially, then he'll get on his Blurred AF is better than Pantheon. Wow, where did that come from? Okay. These guys. Pantheon is the Black Fantastic Four and Marcus is Reed.
Yeah.
Marcus got
Appreciate
Reed.
that, brother Stark. We didn't ask Corey how she's been. How you been, Corey? It's been a minute since you've been on with us.
I'm good. Just been super busy and working.
I just heard some background noise, some work. I heard
Yeah.
what keeps you busy.
Yeah.
No, it's not. It's not mine. It's my niece. It's my great niece, actually.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
Well, she said, don't forget about her.
Yeah, I just have the one. So, but yeah, just busy working. That's it.
Welcome back. Did I spell that right?
Okay.
Coy? Is your name Corey?
Corey.
He missed the
It's
R. It was
actually-
an accident.
It's actually Kori. Believe it or not. But hello.
And hello to us too. Hello, Raymond.
Before we get into anything, the main topics like that, want to get into J. Cole?
Kick it off.
Right.
Kick it off.
Well, at least he's not Drake because his career's dead. Oh, now you're playing. No.
Take us into it, Marcus.
So J. Cole has a track out. What is the name? Hold on.
Called Port Antonio.
Where he is addressing the beef. There you go. Yes. Antonio. Where he's addressing the the beef or the lack thereof from his side of it. And I don't know, man. I heard this joint because I know a lot of people were excited to hear him rap again. And of course, J. Cole is who J. Cole has been since Friday Night Lights. My issue with all of this is that listening to it, it feels like he wants to have his cake and eat it too. It feels like he wants to still be recognized as one of the baddest men in the room without having to be the baddest man in the room. What did Ric Flair say? To be the man, you got to beat the man. And I hate the posturing of hey, yo, I really would have did him dirty, but I would have lost a friend, or, I really would have went in, but, I ain't with that lame stuff. I'm not about to buy bots, and I'm not about to do this, but do that. It's like, okay, man, you're either above it or you're not. And if you're above it, that's okay. There's plenty of people who don't like competition for whatever reason it is, but then you can't be the best at that competition. That's just kind of where I'm at with it. And he seems to want to stand in that pantheon, if for lack thereof a better term, without earning it. And to me, it's just like it's arrogant on two fronts. It's like, for number one, you're low-key saying like you're kind of above what it is rap was built on. Rap was kind of built on competition. Like the art of battling is what made rap perpetuate and made it a culture, right? The fact that you could go out and test your skill, test your mettle versus another opponent, and it spread like any other sport would, right? So that's a key part of the DNA to rap. So the fact that he really at this point vehemently hates that part of it, like he doesn't want to have anything to do with it, but at the same time it's like, oh well, I'm still one of them ones, and if and your favorite rapper can get it. Well, no, my favorite rapper is K-Dot. That's who my favorite rapper is right now, and I don't think he can get anything from you, and that's just is what it is. That don't mean you a bad rapper. That doesn't mean you fell off, even though we had Grippy and whatnot. It just means you can't be him. Stop talking like him. That shit is kind of rubbing me the wrong way.
Yes. Go Darius, you say it.
Well, I was gonna say I knew he had a song. I have not heard the song yet. But if he is saying the cake, like you're saying, and he's wanting his cake and eating it too, by saying I could have done this, but I didn't because of this. I know I always compare things to AAU basketball, sports, things like that. I can't stand that mentality either. That I could have, but I didn't because of this. Like, no, then you should have. And if you didn't, then like you said, just stay the fuck out of it. Then.
Let it go.
Don't comment on it. Yeah, don't comment on it. Don't comment on it, because once you start commenting on it, saying what you could have done, well, then you're gonna. And not saying that K-Dot or Drake would even care enough. You might get a response that you didn't even know. You were even dishing something out. You know what I'm saying?
Darius, you talking about how he walked into the whole situation. He got up there on that table and said, I'm in the big three with Aubrey and Dot. It's us three and nobody else. I'm one of them ones, da, 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 da. And then all of a sudden you walking around with a stick. You know what I'm saying? It's somebody else's track. That's how he caught the first stray. It's almost as like we, or from Cole's perspective, we pushed all this level of expectation on him. Like we made him do this. We pushed his pen. We made him write a diss track to Kendrick Lamar that he didn't believe in. We made him say things in that track that he then had to delete. Like we forced him to do all of that. No, that's not reality, bro. You made a conscious decision to hop in the middle of that shit. You seen where it was going before and after, and you decided to play a part. Just own it. All of this, oh, but they still my friends, and oh, I never turned my back on Drake. He turned his back on you. I distinctly remember Homeboy saying he don't know what the hell you talking about. That shit is not it. I remember that. I remember him throwing you under the bus, saying, "Hey, listen."
He said that in Push Up, wasn't it?
What did he say?
He said all that shit. Yeah, all that close. Well, I forget what he said, but yeah,
he said
he definitely
it's
said
not
it.
me. He said it in that rhythm.
Was it in Family Matters?
it might have been in Family Matters.
It was Family Matters.
It was Family Matters.
Yeah.
And then, not to mention, he was supposed to come out with him. Apparently, he was at the Dreamville Fest last summer, or not last summer, last spring, when all of this shit was popping off, and bounced before Cole got on stage. Now, if I'm Drake and I know that's what you're planning to do, I probably leave too. I don't want to be anywhere near that energy, because I know what's about to go down, and I don't want to be seen tucking my tail like you before he hits me. So you do what you want to do. I'm bounce. But
I also haven't heard the song either. But what's exactly the lyrics that irked you the most? Verse 3, verse 2, verse 1. What was the line?
Let's go to the second verse here. It's for sure mature.
Because I don't care to hear it. That's how little I think about this. Like, your time is up. When I heard this had to do with addressing some of that stuff, it's over. It's way over. We saw the picture of you on the beach.
All right, hold on. They instigate the fuckery because it's profitable, but singing "Stop the Violence" tune in when dudes in the hospitals. I don't know if there are any diehard Cole fans in the chat right now, but tell me if it's just me. But I swear to God, on the last two projects, we've gotten more J. Cole gun bars than we've gotten in the whole first half of his career. I swear to God, we've gotten more. I tote big sticks and I'll shoot big things and I'll put money on his head and da 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 in these last two projects than we've gotten in the whole first three albums.
No, I do
Right.
agree with that because I
Like I'm maybe that's just my ear, but I feel like who are we talking about? Who are we projecting to right now?
No, I do agree with that because his last two albums, I remember being like, oh,
Yeah, like what are we
violent.
talking about?
So
Wait,
violent.
what did he say? And what did he say? He said, what did he say? Put some M's all on your head. Now you Luigi brother. Now what was that? In the off season. Dog, you're putting money on people's head. You talking about murder? J. Cole,
Right.
Love Yours.
Jermaine,
Yeah, Cole.
Jermaine?
Seriously, like who are you
No.
connecting to? And it's like what he's talking about is the rap beef. He's like, oh, y'all want to see us go at it until we shoot at each other. Fam, are you not the best person to exercise this or go through this exercise without it coming to violence? Are you and your friends, so you call it, not the best participants to have this type of engagement without it turning deadly? Since y'all best friends.
Yes.
Why are you acting like any advance in the arena of rap? Didn't nobody say go shoot each other? I didn't say go kick in nobody's door. I ain't say go kidnap nobody's baby mama, kids, none of that. I don't know what you're talking about. I don't know what kind of life you're living, Cole, where rap beef automatically turns to somebody kicking in your front door. But I have seen plenty of people beef and not turn into violence. Not to mention, again, we talking about the DNA of rap, where it started. And again, if you don't vibe with that, if that upsets your spirit, if if it throws off your chakras or whatever the hell, that's your business. But keep that business over there.
Tupac and Biggie happened. Death happened.
Sure.
That ruined everything, though. Like everyone
may or may not have happened because of that beef, though. We don't know. I mean,
that part.
I don't think we know
about that case.
Why those individuals died. There's a million
no
different theories on why them individuals died.
But that they died makes it so that every rap beef has to have this, that extreme that J. Cole introduced it's possible and it's worth talking about. And I hate when someone does that. You're debating about something and they talk about the worst possible outcome to try to make their point. And that's what J. Cole is doing here, I guess.
It's like, oh, bro, we're gonna die. Somebody's gonna die if we rap because I'm that good and I'm gonna tear him up. It's basically he's saying, look, he's gonna get so mad, he's gonna try to kill me. He's gonna try and kill me.
And that's not him. That's the school shooter energy of Aubrey Graham. That's the let me make friends with some bikers because I don't have any day ones. Every photo you see with one of his closest peers, he met them and he's in his 20s. Like, oh, it was my ride or die. We've known each other since I was 24. Like, he doesn't have that. He doesn't have a goon who will do something for him that he was in diapers with type thing. And so he'll reach out to try to give him that big boss status. That's something Aubrey would do. J. Cole should know better not to do that.
Which leads me to my final point about him in this. The profession of his love for Drake. So, man, what was it? Was it 20? Yeah, no, I mean, it's nuts. But 2016, 2017, when No Role Models came out, when he was going at Kanye, what were the things that he criticized Kanye about? Drug use, having fake people around you, people that want to see you spaz out and do wild shit but don't really care nothing about you, stealing music, not writing your own raps. But Drizzy is your man's and you were always oh man. This man is a walking hypocrite. So your role model, the reason why you started rapping, your inspiration, Kanye, he had to be laid bare. You had to lay his demons out for all your fandom to see and put yourself squarely on the other side of him, right? Because he disappointed you so much. But this man is being accused of something completely different, like not just talking, wildly about a different ethnic group. No. We talking about whole PDF file stuff, hide your kids, hide your wife type stuff.
Right.
Oh, but he bought me a watch, so it's all good. I'm OVO Cole. We locked in for life, baby. You did a lot. You did what he said for word is you did a lot for me. Oh, well, as long as you did a lot for me, I guess you have your free run at children. According to Cole. Where is the moral ground for J. Cole, fam? Is it okay for Aubrey to steal songs, but not Kanye? Is it okay for Aubrey to have crowds of entourage of people who really don't give a shit about him and are leeching off of his lifestyle as opposed to Kanye? Is it okay for your boy to be popping half a perk every hour on the hour as opposed to Kanye and what he doing with his nose? I'm just trying to figure out what the rules are for the almighty, all honorable J. Cole, since he's so above rap beef and all depravity that doesn't have to do with Drake.
Don't save him. You don't want to be saved.
Well, what OVO for?
The other vaginal option. But yeah, man, I encourage y'all to go listen to the song. Y'all go get a beat.
There's too many variables. Drake will always be that nerd from Degrassi with the 7 PS news anchors, fro. 7 p.m., I guess.
I like that much better in Degrassi.
What's up, Ant-Man? I'm really just ready for. I'm ready to see the Super Bowl performance. That's what I'm ready for.
I hope Shawn Michaels gets invited and does a super kick just at the same part of
the
the
music during the song.
right there.
Yeah,
Shawn Michaels in the video is gonna be nuts. That's gonna be crazy.
All right, we want to move.
Is it the big one? Is this the invitation to the Aaron Pierre discussion?
Yeah, let's do the Aaron Pierre discussion.
You guys told us last time we do the call-in shows too late. So call-ins, the StreamYard link is in the comment section. I believe it is in there now. Check it out and tell us what you got to say about Aaron Pierre.
Now, I'm sorry, Chill, go ahead.
That all three of us have spoken about it before and we're anti this casting. Corey, I want to hear your opinion first. And what do you think about this Jon Stewart casting? They got a guy whose skin is lighter than what the comic book character is.
I'm kind of 50-50, which is such the worst. Because I think his acting, yes. But his skin, no. I just feel like that's what makes John. Because he's a dark-skinned fella. Big, brody guy, deep voice. I mean, I get the whole eyes. I get the eyes, but I don't know. And the voice, the deep voice. I do.
Yeah, I've spoken on it, said what I've had to say. We've all said what we've had to say. Yeah. So, but I know we've got guests that have already popped in. So let's get them in here.
Anzo.
What's up, guys? What's going on?
Hello.
You first, and then we'll go to. Oh my God, you smell that? There's a little piece of trash down here who's gonna speak, but he's not ready yet. We're gonna go Anzo first. Go Anzo.
Well, my opinion is I don't really care that he's not as dark as he's in the comics, because if you look at some of the alliterations of him in the comics, sometimes he's darker, sometimes he's a little bit lighter, right?
That's part of the problem.
But I don't have an issue with that. You know what I mean? For me, I'm saying, like, as long as a black man is getting a job and getting paid, I'm good with it. And then can go on and get someone else, and then we'll talk more.
Or you want to rest your case there? You don't want to, Marcus, fire back.
No, but no one's saying anything. Like,
no. I'll go. I feel like that's the way that he's proliferated in comics is part of the issue, right? Like, there is so much. There's only but so much space. Not only for, like you said, for a black man getting a job in Hollywood, but then you add the extra layer of it where there is a specific space for a dark-skinned black person, right, or African American. It's like, or not even just African American, a black person to work. It's not as though this opportunity for a legacy character with this physical makeup is going to come around again that soon. We know black roles of this magnitude do not come around this often. And while I think it is a very good opportunity for Aaron Pierre, I actually think he's going to kill it. I think he fits the role in every way except for the phenotypical, just his shade, honestly. But it's not lost on me that actors like Stephen James, who was being considered for this, Trevante Rhodes, I wasn't too high on Damson for this role, but I guess he was in the running as well. It's just where do you tell those actors, all right, well, I know Aaron got this one, but y'all get the next one. Well, what's the next one? Right. What is the next opportunity? You know what I mean? And so if your skin tone then disqualifies you from being in that role, now we have to look at it from a whole nother perspective, because this is not the first, second, or third time this has ever happened, right? Let's just go back, 20 years ago, or not even that far. Yeah, about 20 years ago when the first X-Men came out with Halle Berry, right? And people would talk about it the same way we talking about now. With them, at least Halle working. She got a job. We want her to do well the same way we want Aaron to do well. But we've seen Halle Berry act in a million movies since then. Aaron Pierre will probably go on and have tons and tons of roles. Like, this is a jumping off point type of opportunity. Would he have had that without Green Lanterns? I think so. Does a guy like Trevante Rhodes or Stephen James get that opportunity without the opportunity of playing John Stewart? I don't know.
So here's my thing, right? And I agree with you. Okay, he may be a little bit light skinned, and you're talking about. I'm 50 years old, so I actually grew up in the Hollywood colorism, right? I have a thing for light skinned chicks because of Apollonia, Sheila E. You know what I mean? Vanity. These girls, right?
Pam
But
Grier.
It's right. It's different now, though. We're talking about him being light skinned, but we have Samuel Jackson as Nick Fury, right? We have Black Lightning, dark skin. We have Monica Rambeau, dark skin. We have Chadwick Boseman, the Dora Milaje, all dark skin.
T'Challa, right? You can say it.
T'Challa, you know what I'm talking about, anyways. But that's what I'm saying. It's like things are changing now. Lupita Nyong'o, sorry if I pronounced her name wrong, right? She's getting a push. She's a dark-skinned black woman. One of the best dark-skinned black women in Hollywood, Viola Davis, is getting pushes, right? So
not according to Viola herself, though. You let Viola tell, and she's not.
But that's because she had the Woman King. It didn't do well. She was 100% right when she said if people don't go see this movie, they're not going to do it again, right? Because they gave her that chance and it didn't work, right? But she's getting roles. She's still Amanda Waller. We have Bloodsport, right? Dark-skinned brother, right? So I'm just sitting here and I'm like, okay, I get it. But at the same time, we can't act like the dark-skinned brothers aren't getting the opportunities, because they are. And if you go look at Hollywood now, there's more dark-skinned brothers than there are light-skinned brothers right now.
I don't think we should get into 100%. But
I do want to push back on what you were saying, though, there on how we have all these, Samuel Jackson's Nick Fury. But you look at what Samuel Jackson's even, said this himself. Why have none of the black heroes within the MCU interacted? Why has Nick Fury never been to Wakanda or any of those things like that? But even with what we've gotten with Nick Fury, Sam as Nick Fury, with what we got out of Secret Invasion, I don't know that I would really say that just because Sam isn't playing the role of Nick Fury, that really is like, okay, well, we've got him in the role. But that's just like saying to me, okay, well, this brother's in the role, so that's cool. Well, this brother's in the role, well, that's cool. But it's not just about being in the role, in my opinion. It's about like, that the reason that we're going at, I'm not going at Aaron Pierre, because I agree with you on that aspect. I am happy for the brother. I'm not trying to take anything away from the brother at all. Would I have preferred it been somebody darker skinned? Yes, but I'm also not taking anything away from another brother. So I agree with you on that for sure.
Put green contacts in. It's not that big of a deal.
So
we can eye the eyes. Like,
I'll say this: if you want to talk about them like not interaction stuff, yeah, that's a totally different topic, right? But a lot of people are on, especially X, or colorism this, colorism that, colorism this, right? That's what the argument seems to be. Now, I don't know if that's you guys' argument, but
that's one of my arguments too.
Right?
I think Darius's point was to say
I was going somewhere, but that's fine.
Okay,
no, it's fine. No, not you. Go ahead. Go fine. It's fine.
No, I was just going to
No, go ahead.
I think the point was to say that those characters, while they mean something to us and greater MCU fans that pay attention to it will know their stories and know their background in comics, they are not all that integral. Like, they're not the leading roles, right? This opportunity for John Stewart is going to be something that feels like it's going to perpetuate, right? This character is going to end up in a film. He may get his own film.
Mm-hmm.
That is not the same trajectory for a Monica Rambeau. It's not the same trajectory for even Sam Jackson's Nick Fury, right? The best Sam Jackson's Nick Fury got after 12 years in the MCU was a haphazard, Disney Plus show.
Trash show,
right? And so, yes, actors are working. The biggest dark-skinned actors in Hollywood, of course, are acting. Viola Davis is getting work. Sam Jackson is getting work, and they're always going to get work because they're at the top of their craft. I guess where I'm kind of at in the context to it is, what opportunities are they getting? Samuel L. Jackson is one of the more tenured actors in all of Hollywood, regardless of genre, and he's relegated to a supporting role, as opposed to a brand new, racially ambiguous actor is able now to lead his own franchise. And I'm not saying it's directly just only because of the light skin. There's timing, right? He's budding right now. He's a hot name. There's a lot of stuff. He's British. They love British actors. And
you know how close
yeah, they love it all. So there's a lot of things that go into that. But the thing that continues to ring true is that the darker shaded actors kind of get the lower end of the stick consistently. And that's kind of where I think a lot of people are coming from.
I don't disagree with you on that, but we have Sam. He's getting his own movie, right? So he's getting a push there at the dark skin brother, right? So I can counter with that. We're also supposed to get a Blade movie with a Mahershala Ali's at dark
skin.
So
but look at how they're treating it, though, right? Look how they prioritized it. They're telling us how much they care about a dark skinned character leading a franchise by showing you what they're doing with Blade. That's the perfect example of what we're talking about, because you finally get an opportunity. You finally cast it accurately. You get an actor that actually wants to do it, and they can't get it off the ground. It's a beautiful.
And I'm not going to talk about that because I don't know why the hell they can't get that movie off the ground. It's not that hard. You have a vampire killer and vampires. There you go.
It should not be that hard at all. The budget isn't that high. The story doesn't have to be that complicated. There's no reason for it to be stalling like this. To me, it's easy to identify what's a priority and what's not. I don't know the particulars, like you said, of what's happening in the production, but we know what is important to Marvel and what's not. Them getting the next two Avengers movies sounds pretty important. Fantastic Four feels very important. Does
Robert Downey Jr.?
Robert Downey Jr., very important. Does it feel like Blade is at the top of their list right now?
And it's not only just Blade. And I don't want to even stop you, Marcus, there. It's not only just Blade. It is all of the Black Hero, even the ones you named. We're talking about Armor Wars with Don Cheadle, who's been in the MCU since Iron Man 2. Still, we haven't heard anything about that. Wonder Man, we haven't heard nothing about that other than Yahya Abdul-Mateen II was irresponsibly cast in the role of Wonder Man. Then we've got Blade, like you guys were just talking about, hasn't gotten off. You got the first Black superhero that was ever created to be not a derivative character, character that you've shelved. You've got Monica, who was supposed to get her own Disney Plus series, but now she's displaced in another universe. We know nothing about that. I mean, and then again, we've talked about Sam Wilson. So it's like, yeah, there are black heroes. There are black people with roles. There are black folks in Hollywood getting money, but at what cost? At what cost of, what the representation aspect of things and everything like that we've all, that we're constantly talking about, that Disney and Marvel are constantly throwing in our faces.
I could see them.
Right.
I could see James Gunn saying Wendell Pierce is cast, so we don't have any colorism issues. Wendell Pierce is going to play the newspaper guy, something white.
So, and I agree with, like, I'm not disagreeing with what you're saying, right? But I also think that Marvel, after losing so much money in Phase 4, did an about face, right? The Jonathan Major stuff made them do an about face. So I think that's why a lot of these projects got pushed to the curb, because they want to go with projects that they know are going to make money. Secret Wars, the Spider-Mans, right? Those are the ones that they're going to push back up, because Phase 4 was lackluster, to say the least. You understand what
I
I'm
can
saying?
tell you right now, Ironheart's not going to make money. Don't, and I said this on my stream the other night. Don't be fooled by these. Oh, Agatha's doing great numbers. Agatha's doing great numbers for Disney Plus,
Right.
and that's on a Wednesday. That's for Disney Plus. You put Agatha up against something on HBO Max, something on Netflix, she fails horribly. So Agatha's doing fine, I guess you could say. Did we really need Agatha? No. All we're all caring about, from what I've seen online conversation, is what's going on with Agatha's son. Wanda's son, Billy. That's the only thing that everybody really cares about. So it's like, I don't know that Agatha's going to make money. I don't know that Ironheart's going to make money. That's a show that we're still pushing. I don't know that Vision Quest is going to make money. That's a show that we're still pushing. Of course, Fantastic Four is going to make money. Of course, the Avengers films are going to make money.
Right.
But these other rumored shows, these other shows that we do know are already slated on the MCU, coming out on their timeline, I don't know that we can really say, outside of like those big films, that these others are making money. Can we seriously say that Thunderbolts is making money?
But back to the light skin, dark skin thing. One thing that's pissing me off is the
There's no way
anger,
this is true.
the focus.
I put some money up.
That's
talking
not true.
about
There's no way that's true.
Sorry.
Aaron Pierre isn't exactly who I'm pissed at. I'm more so looking at James Gunn, because I think a prerequisite
that's not true.
for the character, a prerequisite is to look like the character. I've seen some people try to fight it on Twitter. Oh, look,
They was trying to find the most light-skinned Jon Stewart they could find, boy. The lightest, and even the lightest version of him is still a solid, like, walnut. It's a solid brown. And so there is a distinct kind of like, all right, well, we kind of, if you squint and you turn your head, maybe, but everything else fits. Military background.
Pictures of the light shining up on Jon Stewart's face, and then Aaron Pierre. There's that scene where it's pretty dark because there's not many lights in that hallway of Rebel Ridge where he's about to get arrested, and they'll use that photo to see how dark he looks. I can't. And some people say,
I don't think he's gonna look good though. I think he's gonna look dope in the suit. I think he's gonna look
good too, and I think his acting's gonna be great, and I think
100.
he's gonna kill it as a role. But
he's definitely gonna do that.
I do wish that the representation was there, because as soon as I think of Jon Stewart, that's like the first image in my head is like a dark black man.
So, and him
emphasis on the word dark, Corey, because if you scroll down,
it ain't bad.
What's to worry about? I've been dark all my life and I'm surviving.
So here's the thing that I want to say real quick, because I think a lot of people are acting like he's like this really light-skinned dude. He's not Chillmonger, right? He's maybe a little bit shade lighter than me, right? Now you see all these pictures online.
Aaron? You talking about Aaron?
Yeah.
Hold on. Color, dog.
No. These are good lighting, right? The lighting is good on them. But if you watch Rebel Ridge, you would actually see how really dark skinned he is. He's not a dark skinned brother. He's not a chocolate brother, but I'd say he's maybe like Aaron. Yeah, maybe like her complexion. Maybe a little bit darker, maybe a little bit lighter. But he's like that. People are acting like he's like this complete light skin looking like Chillmonger type of dude. You know what I mean? And
I'm pretty sure.
Enough? You think if he was like, let's use numbers. This dude's like 45% melanated on the scale, and Jon Stewart is 90% or 80%. Or whatever you call this number. You think that? What number do you think he is? Do you think Aaron Pierre is?
Honest. Well, I don't know, to be honest with you, right? But in I say like this because I have
That
a
doesn't help.
picture. Hold on. So
My
yeah, go ahead.
dad is a little lighter than chill. And I put a picture of my dad up next to Aaron. He's there with my father. He's pretty light.
Well,
He's a
share
yellow
my screen,
man.
too. No, he's not.
No,
I don't think he's yellow.
He's pretty
Share my screen.
light-skinned.
Share my screen.
Maybe
Somebody add him
cameo
up.
at the most.
Right? So if you look at the top picture and the bottom one, the middle one, he looks a little light, but the top and two, that's how he looked like when he was in Rebel Ridge, right? There's not that much difference when you look at the two pictures side by side. There's not that much difference of a complexion difference.
There, it's kind of like I said. There's a light on the picture on the top left of Jon Stewart, brightening things up. There's also on the right side on the picture of Aaron. That's in the dark. That's the hallway that I'm talking about, where it looks like he's darker.
Look how much shadow
Yeah,
is on his neck.
So look at the one on the
Hanzo.
floor.
Look at his
He's
neck.
outside. Yeah, I see the neck, but look at the one on the outside, when he's sitting up by the car, right? Like his complexion isn't that
Hold
light.
that thought. What does Dramac have to say about it? He's muted. I didn't mute him. He's gonna say, "Oh, they're trying to silence me." Okay, don't hold that thought. Keep going, Anzo.
No, I'm just saying, I'm just happy. First off, one, that because I didn't know who this guy was until I seen Rebel Ridge. I had no idea. And then I watched Rebel Ridge and I was like, oh, this is amazing. So one, I'm happy that someone new is getting to a shot line. It's not just the same old, oh, John Boyega, these guys, let's get someone we know. We got someone actually in the role, right? So I'm excited for that. I think he killed it in Rebel Ridge. And to be honest with you, there's one scene where he's talking to Don Johnson as the cop. I said, oh, he would make a good Jon Stewart, 100%. And I still believe that.
Is
I
it when he
don't-
was
and I
running
don't- I
down
don't know-
the acronyms?
Yeah, that's a good,
Yeah.
such a
Yeah.
good scene.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I watched it. I
That was a
watched
good
it.
scene.
I watched it for the first time today. It's a great scene. I don't think anybody though is arguing the fact that the brother is going to kill the role, because I even said that. I'm getting increasingly excited because of all of the casting announcements. I'm liking it so far. What
Right.
James Gunn is cooking in the DCU, and
I'm
with the
here
rumors
for it.
now that we're supposed to be getting a Superman trailer before, I'm happy. I'm excited. So I don't think anybody's debating like, oh, the brother's gonna kill it, because I think he's gonna kill it too. I really do. I think he's gonna kill the role. It's just, when we have that side by side, that Justice League team picture, you're gonna have that yellow nigga over there with his brightest day, darkest night.
Listen.
He light skinned. Hanzo's okay. He just a little light skinned. But he's dope though. Like he has the military background. I think he has a strong demeanor. He can definitely emote like Jon Stewart. He has a deep
Right.
voice.
For sure.
Right.
For
It's
sure.
all gonna work.
The
I'm gonna just have to
eyes-
get used
the
to the
eyes are
light
already
skin.
there.
And that's what I'm saying, because to me, it's like it's the same thing over and over again, right? When they cast Jim Gordon, it's like, oh no, they race band this and that. Then he killed the role and nobody said anything, right?
Nobody
So it's
said
the
I
same
always
thing
say
now. People,
something.
yeah, I know, chill. You're different though. You know what I mean? But everybody's gonna say the same thing now, and then he's gonna come out, and he's gonna kill the role, and there's not really gonna be that much of a pushback of it anymore. I'm just saying, let's just celebrate the fact that we got Jon Stewart actually on the in live action now. That's what.
Are
we
you
should
are
be
you not
celebrating.
nervous that like the next time we get a Luke Cage on screen that it'll be like Corbin Blue or something like that? Not actually Corbin Blue, but like a Corbin Blue type.
I mean, you don't
I-
even
I-
have to. You don't even have to
Slippery
go. You don't even have to go that far. We can keep it. I mean, maybe within the next few months or within the year, if they cast Vixen or someone else like that. Are
You know
we
what I mean?
thinking-
Like it's a slippery slope.
I get you, and I got a hot take because I didn't like the guy that played Luke Cage anyway. So
No, you don't like Mike
Coulter? No, I didn't like him. I didn't like him.
Oh,
I didn't like him.
hater.
He was all right. I think he's
But
been better acting in other projects. He was
Right,
way
I-
better acting in Evil than he was.
Thank you.
Luke Cage.
That's my problem. I don't think his acting was that great in it, right? Like he got outshined by Cottonmouth. He got outshined by Bushmaster. You know what I mean? And
No, I mean
if it's your
Blade.
show-
Mahershala Ali is a 2-time Academy Award winning.
It's easy to get.
Yeah, I know.
out.
I know. Yeah, I know. Absolutely.
They'll cast Justice Smith.
Justice
It's a
Smith.
slippery slope. I don't think it's that slippery, man. Oh, let me share the screen. I don't like here. He is standing next to a European descendant brother, and he's not too different from him, man.
His brother, blood brother.
He's
No, he
light
said he
skinned.
was just saying like that, like
Like,
his
oh,
European.
oh.
European dude.
Okay.
He's right there in the middle. He's caramel.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. And here's the thing, right?
Brother, I don't
Like
know.
use the brown on his shirt to
green
determine.
eyes.
Right.
When are they starting to film this show? Does
They
anybody
haven't
know?
yet.
Okay,
They-
so
I mean, he
If
might
they
get
start-
darker in the sun.
that's what I'm saying. If they do it in
It's
the summer,
in the
right? 'Cause
summertime.
you see how I am, right? When I was
They
younger,
might
we used to
do
go
that.
swimming every
They
day.
might.
They used to say I was purple. You know what I mean? I got some black, I was purple. So hey, maybe we'll do it in
Hey.
the summertime. He'll get some black in him.
Is it called foundation that you put on? Is that the right word? But there's
Yeah,
a way.
foundation.
I wasn't asking you.
Don't
Oh,
make him
wait.
do that.
Yeah.
Don't make him do that. No, he's light skinned. Just let him be.
Foundation.
Every movie has hair and makeup. Foundation will be the darker of the choice. I think all of this chit chat will make him tell them.
I
"No,
wonder
you gotta
if-
make me darker."
To use darker foundation, he's gonna be a black man using blackface.
And it isn't exactly blackface.
Chill.
But
I need you to
I
chill.
wonder if they're going to go the bald route, or is he going to keep the low fade?
Oh, he got to keep the low fade because
He
he's
gotta
new
keep
school
the low
John.
fade.
He got to evolve into bald John.
Yeah. You can't just go straight into bald John.
Well,
That's
somebody did you
ridiculous.
see the fan art they made of him as bald John?
Yeah.
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 I think when it's
Wow.
time to sell a movie, he's light skinned. First go around. It's a TV show. It's on subscription service. You already got the sales. You do the darkest possible. But when you need that poster in China, that's when you say, "Hey, pal, stay out of the sun before we start shooting these scenes." Okay.
I'm telling you, it's that AI. They're gonna start AIing the shit out of this nigga. I'm telling you
Oh,
right now.
our experience won't be the same as the international experience. That's exactly what they're doing.
So that's one thing I will agree with you guys on. Like, if you really think on it, right? Light skin is more acceptable to,
Of course.
a non-melanated people, light skin. So I do
Right.
think they still have that kind of an issue in Hollywood. But I also think that, at
It's
least
safe and non-threatening.
brothers like right. But I also think
Exactly.
that, they are actually giving dark-skinned brothers a lot more opportunities than not.
I mean,
Like I say, how y'all guys
each
doing
their
first and foremost?
He's going
So-
to
Hello.
Appreciate you.
I'll repeat, it's safe and non-threatening unless you Minister Farrakhan.
Yeah, that's a light skinned brother they don't want to talk to.
No.
If I may add, man, first and foremost, I'm actually proud of the brother. He really did I ain't never seen a star-making turn like that in years with Rebel Ridge, and I'm very happy the brother did it. I think they're really going overblown with the color issue. The white man chose, picked the job, and coming from my take on John Stewart, like I first caught up on him when I watched the Justice League cartoon. I didn't really catch too deep into the comic book, and honestly, John Stewart really didn't have a strong personality in the show because he was so strong military sounding, and sometimes he was an asshole too. But I think Aaron will give him a little bit more flair and more charisma, excuse me. And I honestly think it all comes down to how you write a character. I mean, Marcus, like for example, me and you, we watched Castlevania. We seen how well they wrote Isaac.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? And if you show charisma like that and you draw the crowd to it, the skies could be the limit to the point where not only could be a series, they could make a feature-length film out of this. And I would say Chillmonger for like with James Gunn. I do got to give James Gunn a little credit because he did a great job with Idris Elba with the Suicide Squad.
Well, what's that got to do with my
No, I'm just saying,
criticism is the
bro.
casting.
Oh yeah. I'm sorry, bro.
My criticism is
casting.
this is what Jon Stewart's supposed to look like on the left.
Yeah. I get you, bro. I get you. But also, if I may add, man, we do need they really do need to just get a more balanced, well-developed comic book roles. Because like homie saying that we should just be happy with him being on, but I'm like, bro, it's 2024. We should have been had Brother Voodoo. We should have had Blue Marvel. You know what I'm saying?
Yep.
It's so many characters, black characters, and then I'm not a really big fan of the race swap thing neither. You know what I'm saying? But it's at the same time, it's so many rich black characters that could really be thrown out and make it more interesting. And more importantly, they're not being judged based by color, just that they're good characters.
Yep.
That's
Agreed.
I don't see
Now-
color.
Hey, I still think my man Yala Noel should have been T'Challa, but for some reason, Marvel is just putting that thing on lock. We're not gonna do anything, even with the new Avengers movies. Nah.
they talking about after Secret Wars right now.
Right.
If that. If that.
And that's a
Hell, when we
start.
gonna see a Shang-Chi sequel?
After Secret Wars. after
Oh
they
my god.
after they recast T'Challa.
Right.
Oh my god. Do you think they're gonna recast him?
Absolutely not. We're gonna get your child.
It's hard to call, man. If they don't, so let's say let's say they actually run the third movie the way that they plan to, right? Pass it off to the kid from Shuri, and that's our new male Black Panther. I think that they would risk tanking the franchise permanently. I think that they could do so bad in the box office, seeing how recent superhero box office flops have gone. If you disaffect the audience that totally, you could end up tanking the franchise for good, because Black Panther only has this iteration, right? If this iteration fails, it's going to be hard to convince another studio to come up and do this again, even though they just had 1.3 billion on the opener, because they're going to look at the diminishing cost over the next two films and be like, nah, we're not doing that. So are they willing to take that risk? Who has the balls in that office to say, yeah, this is how we're going to chart this course? Because if they fail, it's probably going to cost somebody their job. That will cost somebody their job, because somebody need to be a scapegoat at that point, right? Somebody will need to take responsibility for the diminishing value of the franchise. It'll probably be Nate Moore.
I was just about to say that.
Yeah, it'll probably be Nate Moore. So
And
does
then
Nate Moore
gonna
have
be
the
like
balls?
Bo and got to have an OnlyFans to tell everybody why he got fired.
Ooh, that's a.
I'll tell you,
Yeah.
for me on that, not to turn this into a T'Challa conversation, but
It already
I'm
is.
sorry.
It already
I'm
is.
gonna have an opinion. I don't think it's that hard to call. I can tell you, in my opinion, just from what I'm observing, I don't see them recasting T'Challa for any, like, in the future or anything like that. Do I see him potentially being in the next two Avengers films? Yes, because the multiverse, Russos, blah blah blah. But I don't see them. I do not see them bringing in a T'Challa, son of T'Chaka, with everything that they've set up in the second one. I mean, they all the actors involved, Ryan Coogler, everybody, if they felt that way then, when the podcast he did for Wakanda Forever, when he said, it was just not real for us. It wasn't our reality. We couldn't see, and we can't see someone else walking through those doors and being our T'Challa. So
that
if you
was
can't
before
see
they lost 500 million, though.
yeah, that was before they
That
lost
was
that.
before they lost 500 million.
I feel you. I feel you. That was
Are they
before they
gonna
lost
walk into
500.
that situation? That was Nate Moore going into it at the onset of Chadwick's death and having to acquiesce. All right, everybody's sad. Okay, this is what they want. I'd rather piss off the fan base than piss off these folks, because these folks can talk about me in interviews and shit, and I don't want that. So I'll piss off the fans, right? So pissing off the fans lost them 500 million. I guarantee you that conversation. Say it again, my fly.
I was gonna say, can I ask a question though? Did y'all see the end of the Marvels?
Yes.
When Captain Marvel woke up, it was in the X-Men universe.
Are you talking about Monica Rambeau Photon woke up and she was
Exactly. What if they end up having a T'Challa in that universe, that was with Storm?
That's the rumor right now, but that rumor only goes so far as well. Anyway, if they do bring that T'Challa in, The rumor is that T'Challa would be the T'Challa moving forward in the MCU, and that they wanted. Now, this is just a rumor, grain of salt type of rumor. They want to do away with the child. I don't see that at all. I don't. I reported on that months ago. I just don't see that. I don't see logically. And I get it. They lost 500,000. I get it. I do. But unless you are going to get rid of Ryan Coogler, unless you're getting rid of all the cast and crew, because they just can't seem to get around him not being there to be able to act.
I'm down. I'm down with Ryan Coogler going.
Ryan is.
I'm down. Antoine Fuqua could just direct the next one.
But Letitia's a strong anchor to that shit too.
They've gone away from directors. Disney as a company has gone away from directors in the middle of a trilogy. That's not unheard of. He's the linchpin.
But they really love him. They love that.
I don't think that if Ryan walks, then Lupita walks, then Denai Gunnar. I don't believe that they're that. I don't believe it. Don't believe it. I think everybody got a raise when that role wasn't replaced, and I don't think that they're turning that down because Ryan doesn't want to make the film that Disney asked him to make. I think they're
See, my problem with it is.
So do we? I'm
sorry.
I know we have a guest, but now I'm invested.
I'm sorry.
So are we thinking that they are going to give us a recast here and then change everything? And not to say that they can't. They can't. It's the multiverse. It's comic book films. They can do all that. Get rid of Ryan Coogler. Bring T'Challa back. And how? When? What's our time frame on this that we're thinking? Are we thinking?
I'm not saying that any of that is for sure going to happen. What I'm saying is some of it is on the table. Because if it's not, then he don't like his job. Meaning, Nate Moore. He don't like his job.
Let's focus on the 5,000-pound elephant in the room. Honestly, it was a good. The original Black Panther was a great film. We're not taking nothing away from it. But let's all really agree that they nerfed T'Challa heavily in that movie. They never really show all his full powers. You know what I'm saying? I would really love to cut the slate and start over and, show T'Challa as far as his intellect, as far as his agility without taking a serum, as far as him being king of the dead. They never showed none of this. Only thing he did, his suit can explode. I'm just, to me, they just nerfed him down. And I would really like to see a new slate about it. But I mean, I'm speaking from my idealistic nature. I'm sorry.
No, I would like to see new hands grab it as well.
But MCU has a thing of. I was just gonna say MCU has a thing of nerfing characters. Look what they did with the Hulk too, right? But I had a question for you guys. You think, because the rumor is after Secret Wars there's going to be like a soft reboot. You don't think they could put him in there after that happens?
That's the best way to do it, though. All the universes, there's incursions, no more universes, all this stuff is battle worlds. When the heroes win and they say, "Can you make our universe whole again?" Sure, we will. And
T'Challa bring back everybody.
That'll be the ultimate question, or the ultimate the answer to the question right there. Is if that happens and they do recast him around that time, if he's not recasted around that time, because the rumor is Black Panther 3 is supposed to come after Secret Wars 2026, 2027, or I'm sorry, 2027, 2028. And if that is true and it comes out around that time, we would start probably hearing something around that Secret Wars time about production or something like that. If there's no plans in that, they have no plans to bring him, because if you don't bring him back in the third one and you waste yet another film where T'Challa's not in it, then you're waiting another 2 to 3 years before the next film.
I don't think it makes another film without him. That's what I'm getting at. I think the next outing,
I'm telling
the outing could be so catastrophic that they don't make another one. Look at the Marvel.
I just think they're trying to phase out that IP.
Yeah, look at Joker 2. Look at the Marvels. When you disaffect an audience, even on a sequel, you can plummet the sales.
They didn't even respect the character enough to put him in animation. They still in the
video game, bro.
They still in X-Men 97 were having according to DeMeo, we're still having conversations. When did that, was that in 2023? In 2023, we're having conversations of humanity over continuity. So if they're still having those conversations, it's still too soon. Oh, we're still too hurt. Oh, we got to have humanity overcome in 2023. Come on.
Hey man, let's just be honest. They honestly wanted to get rid of this IP. They're using these so-called black writers and directors. They're doing what they're told by these corporations to say, "Hey man, we don't need this on here no more." We
Now,
see
let's
how
just
these
be
guys
honest.
are getting there.
Let's really just be honest, Mofla. You had no interest in talking about Aaron Pierre. You wanted to take this.
Oh yeah. I'm sorry, bro.
Farrakhan.
I'm sorry, man. Aaron Pierre, like I said, I'm really looking forward to this. This is going to be straight stunning with Aaron Pierre as Green Lantern. I would really like to see him go tag toe to toe with Superman, though. If Jan's going to make that go down.
Yeah. Good comment. Yeah.
I mean, Superman would wreck him, but you know.
I mean, come on, man.
And I'm not gonna watch it hatingly every single week. He's too light. He's too light. Like, I'm mad at the decision now. But all right, he's Jon Stewart. Let's watch the show. And then 20 years from now, the thing I always say is gonna happen. It's gonna happen, and they'll do Hal Jordan and no signs of Jon Stewart, no matter how good. I'm telling you, and I'm gonna be
great point. Great point.
Can I ask you something? Can I ask you something about that, too? So you always say that, right? So in between, when the Lanterns and Jon Stewart's arc starts, in the 20 years when he ultimately ends up getting replaced, what happens in that gap?
Aaron Pierre does a phenomenal job of elevating this character.
I was gonna say, what happens to the character?
The character becomes so popular
for 20 years, for 2 decades,
straight years, and they still go with Hal.
And that's that doesn't account for anything. That doesn't mean anything.
Nope, it doesn't.
20 years worth of representation. So what do you want then? How does it? If 20 years of positive representation means nothing, what are you fighting for? Why do you want it to be correct in the first place?
Whoa. I'm not the one removing him. I'm reporting to you that DC will do what they've already done before.
No. I'm asking you about that 20 years that it's going to be Jon Stewart, right?
It's going to be great.
So for that 20 years, it means nothing to the kids that are watching a blackface on screen.
It's going to be phenomenal for them.
It's
going to be a
I
temporary,
think
it's not temporary. It's for 20 years. That's an entire lifetime for somebody. That is
what Chillmonger is trying to say is they're going to use him like how Fox and WB and UPN will use black shows to jumpstart the thing, and they're going to do the same thing with Jon Stewart. And once it become popular, then they're going to push in Hal Jordan.
Those black sitcoms that you're talking about wish that they had 2 decades to reign supreme. 2 decades is someone's entire childhood in the earlier part of their adulthood. That shapes the consciousness of a person. If somebody spent the last 20 years watching Jon Stewart, Green Lantern is Jon Stewart to them. They're going to see Hal Jordan and be like, who the fuck is this guy?
You're right.
Who is this guy?
You're right. That's
no one's going to even remember who the hell Hal Jordan is by that time. Because everybody was grown up watching Jon Stewart.
Before, as soon as, I don't know, maybe because I didn't grow up on the animations. Like, I'm just now watching the animations and like getting through DC. But just watching the show, when I think of Hal Jordan, when I think of not Hal Stewart, but when I think of Jon Stewart, it's instantly to a darker skinned man. And I just think that's what it comes down to. And so like 20 years from now or 10 years from now, however long he takes this character, like Marcus is saying, if, they go back and read a comic book or go, of course, maybe those things might involve too, with keeping up with what's going on with the TV, they're probably going to be like, oh, wait, what?
Right. It's the example. It's the example I use with Wonder Man. There's going to be some kid that doesn't know who Wonder Man is. It's going to be some black kid that doesn't know who the fuck Wonder Man is. Going to be sitting down in the theater or at home watching the series and be like, oh, who is this black superhero? Ah, bro, this is dope. I've never been in the comics, but because he's so cool, let me go check it out. Pick up the comic. White. Well, maybe he's black in issue 2. Let me pick up issue 2.
Because the minute he goes and looks up Simon Williams, that's who he's going to find, right? You can find a plethora of content and books and animated episodes to watch Jon Stewart. There's plenty of content to fill your knowledge bank with Jon Stewart that just doesn't exist for the black version of Simon Williams.
Wasn't it McDuffie that pushed Jon Stewart to be black on the series?
Was that McDuffie? Shout out to the
Yeah.
legend.
Rest in peace, brother. He was the one. He captained that whole series to make it the classic that it was.
R.I.P.
Shout out to him because I fucking love that series.
Oh man, check out the Milestone comics.
So
That was a great talk. Good hour spent on Aaron Pierre's casting of the Green Lantern, Jon Stewart.
Pretty good.
Pretty good.
Hey man, loved it.
show, man.
For sure.
If people want to find Onzo, where could they find them?
The name there, Bigger Ford Entertainment. Thanks for having me. Chill invited me on. I was like, all right, 3 against 1. All right, let's do it. You know what I mean?
You were supposed to have Dre Mac. I guess Chill scared him off when he said he stunk or whatever.
Oh, technical issues type. That's what he messaged me on the side.
Oh, Dre Mac would have been on my side. What up,
Yeah.
Dre Mac? Good job. You know what I mean? But no, I appreciate the conversation, guys. It was great.
Recast T'Challa. Mo Fly Productions in the building.
Hey man, thank you guys, man. I really appreciate this because it's rare that we get a chance to have these conversations. And once again, I really be thinking I'm the only person that thinks like this, and it lets me know that I'm not alone.
Absolutely not.
Of course.
And once again, Marcus, before I get off, all you guys, please watch Zack Snyder's Twilight of the Gods. I keep telling y'all.
I finished it. It was great, bro. It was great.
Don't you love
really
Thor?
good.
Don't you love Thor?
I actually didn't care for Thor's character at all in this one. But I didn't really fuck with Sigrid all like that either. I feel like they were kind of one and the same.
For real?
It was really ironic how that ended, how the series ended, because I was thinking at the same time. The whole time I'm thinking like, hey, yo, they're mirroring each other the entire time. So it was very ironic how that season ended.
Yeah, that was ugly. But I have to, before I get off, Netflix has really been knocking it out the park with their animated series. That, Terminator Zero, waiting for Castlevania Nocturne for January. So, and Blue Eye Samurai, whenever that come out.
December, I think. Last season of Arcane.
Oh yes. That I'm gearing up for that too. So they've been knocking them out the park, man. But hey, man, thank you guys for hearing me out, man, and God bless y'all. You know, I'm still support y'all. Peace out.
See ya.
Peace.
We got Jodie Turner-Smith on the docket next. Star Wars actress. She voiced her opinion on basically Star Wars defending her. How do they speak up? How do they defend the actor? Is the conversation I want to take. I know we put up a poll over on Planet Fanatics' YouTube channel, and I'll pull that up in a second when I get that ready. But my overall opinion is, what is she talking about? How is Lucasfilm supposed to defend the actor? You're an actress, you're black, they hate you. People write messages that are mean to you, and they say nasty things. That happens, it's wrong, terrible. What is Lucasfilm supposed to do to help? How do they undo it? I feel like you can only draw attention to it by talking about it and making it worse, by making the hateful people know that if I write this message to Jodie, I'll be on an article on Variety. This is what I want. What is Lucasfilm supposed to do for her? What is she complaining about? Like, oh, they don't have our backs. Like, what does she want? I don't get it. Does anyone know what? Like, does she want human resources to speak up?
The only way to keep them completely out of some of the mess that they're going through, because obviously, like you said, you can't stop a racist from being a racist. Some of that's going to happen regardless. And I'm sure they've experienced some of this outside of the Star Wars fandom too. That's kind of the misnomer that they're not letting be known, is that actors kind of experience this by trade and not necessarily by studio. But in any case, for me, in the way that I'm digesting it, the best way to protect your actors would be to not put them in socially charged roles that specifically speak to a certain segment of your fan base that you're trying to antagonize, right? Like, I don't know if that part of it, you know, the witch cult thing was supposed to be a thing of lesbian representation. Obviously, Leslie Hetland is a lesbian herself. I know there was a lot of self-reporting in the show. I don't know if she mentioned the cult thing being one of them, but definitely there was a lot of, you know, gay tilts in there. If you do not seek to have criticism for a very specific sexual orientation or your tilt towards that sexual orientation, is it necessary for you to write it into your show? And if you choose to put it into your show, can you sit up here and throw your hands up and be surprised if there's a segment of people who don't accept it, right? Who don't live their life that way, who don't want to see it in their Star Wars, who don't really want to consume it in their media. This is not a typical vehicle for that type of content. And so when you mix that way, or you race swap, you put these individuals in situations that they may not being of the Star Wars fandom, not understanding the full brunt of the situation that they're walking into. It's not really fair for them to do that haphazardly and then, you know, kind of just leave them out in the wind to do it. I think the studio with Romeo and Juliet with Old Girl and Tom Hardy is a really good example, right? Like, it's one thing to take that very bold stance to cast a black woman for Juliet, right? Then she gets all of this vitriol, and not only does the studio not step back and maybe say, okay, we cast her in this situation, like we brought the situation about, we knew we were going to get controversy for that. What was our plan? How did we plan to go about this? It didn't really seem like they had one. It really seemed like they had a planned response for what was sure to be an onslaught of criticism for a traditionally white character who's now going to be played by a black person. And anybody who's walking into that situation and saying, oh, no, it's going to be fine, it's cool, and not trying to account for it at all is being naive.
But you're doing a big, like, catch-all. I'm talking specifically of Jodie's words. Discrimination that she faced and how she wanted Lucasfilm to speak up. 1 second, Raymond. I disagree, Chill. If you have a business or a corporation and your employees being attacked because of their race, I'm going to make sure my employer is taken care of and safe. I think you mean employee. What does that entail? What is the material response?
I don't know how they make her safe online.
Again,
I would just suggest not.
Hold on.
Yeah, go ahead.
He says it would just be nice if the people that have all the money, whether that be Disney or any studio, were showing their support and putting their feet down. Say, this is unacceptable. You're not a fan if you do this, she continued. They might find that it's actually more lucrative for them, but everyone's using woke like it's a dirty word. That was the quote.
Yeah, everyone does use woke like it's a dirty word, but no, that's not the answer. That's 100% not the answer.
Okay, I guess that's my next question. Like, how is that? I feel like she said what to do to help her feel supported and safe, and that's someone who is in charge of the situation or knows of the situation would not necessarily come forward, but speak up and support her, whether it's on social media or to this point, because she felt like whoever she went to or said something to before she got to this point probably was not listening and she wasn't heard. So here we are in social media putting, studios on blast.
I don't think that Jodie is necessary, and I'm in the agreement with Corey, because I applauded her for what she said personally. I don't think that Jodie is necessarily saying that Lucasfilm needs to find the IP address of all these hate mongers and these people, and they need to ban them from Disney Plus and ban them from coming to. I don't think she's saying that. I think what she's saying is a little can go a long way. All you have to do is show us that you are supporting. You can, as a company, and that is true, as a company, Lucasfilm, not to say that again it's going to stop the hate. It's not at all. But it will just show your employees that, hey, we do support you. We do see you. We're on your side. And we're going to put out a statement, even though the statement's probably not going to stop that shit. But we're still showing you that we're on your side. That's, I think, what Jodie is saying.
So and that's fine. But let's put this in perspective for a second, right? So Jodie Turner goes to work for Lucasfilm. She signs up for a project headed by Leslie Headland. They're going to make The Acolyte. The Acolyte has all of these social tilts that are going to make a certain segment of the fan base uncomfortable, not to mention the rest of the show is absolute dog shit. Okay? So now Jodie Turner, Amanda Steinberg are getting attacked. Some of it is warranted. Some of it is racist, right? You got to kind of wade through those criticisms to find out which is which. And they're expecting the studio to stand out in front of it and be like, hey, this is not acceptable. This is not what we do here, right? You're not a real Lucasfilm fan if you're doing this. Whole time, they greenlit the show. They shot it. They produced it.
I'm with you.
They put it out there.
Yes.
It's them. They're how can you put them in that spot, allow them to make it, sell it to everybody, get the response back, and then tell everyone else they're wrong? We talk about that all the time when studios try to blame us for bad feedback because we didn't like something. Now you're telling them to turn around and come back and be like, hey, you didn't like something? Leave them alone. It doesn't matter. You're not a real Lucasfilm fan if you didn't like this. Because everybody's not attacking Jodie Smith Turner because she's black. As much as I would like to protect her from that criticism, I'm not going to allow her to paint all the criticisms of the Acolyte as, oh, there were black women involved with this project. That's why everybody's criticizing. Because that's 1,000% not why I was criticizing at any point. So I can't allow her to take that.
And that's what I'm saying. I'm not coming from it from that standpoint because I criticized the Acolyte. I thought the Acolyte was dog shit as well. I'm not saying that, the studio needs to stand in front because it's not like you said, it is not everyone. It is a fraction of people that are being racist. Not everyone is attacking the show, coming at it for being being racist with it or being homophobic with it or any of the other things that they have been faced with. But I do feel when you have a lead that is black and then not just a lead that is black, you also have a lead that is Asian. I don't know if he got any hate. I'm sure he didn't. On that point, not to stand up against all of the different issues that everybody had against the Acolyte, but on the bigotry point, because that's more from what I got from what Jodie was saying, that she was talking about more than anything was just like the racism.
How do we protect you from bigots online?
No, that's exactly what I said. You can't. We cannot protect you. We cannot protect you.
But even at the point of them coming out and saying, hey, you can't criticize Jodie Turner. You can't criticize the Acolyte. You can't. I mean, they can say something about the racism, but the racism is happening online. You can't stop that. And like Jill said, the moment you say something about it like that, it gets bigger. You think them coming out and saying, hey, people that are sending Jodie Turner death threats, stop it. And it's going to go lower? You think that's correlation? You think that's how it's going to happen?
Of course not, because we saw it with Moses Ingram.
Why they exacerbate it like that? Right. The minute, what's his name?
Ewan
McGregor comes out and says, hey, get off of Moses Ingram. We're back. She's this, she's that. Obi-Wan is this. We worked really hard. It only went up. It only turned the heat up. So how do you stop?
Here's a solution. Raymond says that entails targeting, and thank you for responding, targeting these big pages and content creators that lead in attacking these actors and taking them off the internet. Copy strike them or report them for abuse or something. They operate, he had more, or saying something. Words matter. If they made a statement or even had an entire panel at Star Wars Celebration addressing it and making it clear that it's not welcomed in the Star Wars fandom.
Well, on that part, I don't know about.
Opinion a lot, but if Lucasfilm had a "this is why we're upset" and these are the people that are attacking us panel at Star Wars Celebration, that would be the worst optic setting.
I don't even think it's just Lucasfilm. I think it's any studio, because then when you start doing that, you start taking away one of our amendments, and that is the right to free speech. Although I may not agree with Ryan Cannell and the rest of them, he has a right to have a YouTube channel and spew whatever fucking hate he wants to spew. That's his prerogative. I don't have to enjoy it. I don't have to agree with it. But
I sure as hell don't want nobody trying to shut me down for what I say.
Right.
And you know what I'm saying? I know I upset a lot of people with the things that I say, and I don't want anybody to have the power to tell me to get off of this internet because I've said something that they don't like.
I don't think that's the point. I think it's just a
China.
point that the studio can at least come out and say, hey, we support the decision that this director and cast made.
I mean,
You know what I mean? This cast, this cast and crew made with this star lead, and we are here to make her feel like something to let her know, like, hey, if you have an issue, if you have a problem, like, we're here to support you. We support the decision that was made in this casting role, and we hope that the Star Wars fandom continue to, be excited for the next upcoming whatever. Like, I just think, again, whether it was publicly or behind doors, something should have been said.
She needs something public. She was asking for public. And since I think Marcus also, we all we know when it's a public thing of we stand up for Jodie. While that makes Jodie feel better, I'm going to put your feelings second for what the result would be, which would be way more attention brought to it and more people coming out the woodwork like, I am a hateful bigot. What? I mean, I want to join this train too. I want to make sure she knows she's not welcome. I'm going to do my part too. And then thousands more will join the hate camp. And I just mean not like the YouTube creators, but just the guys who have nothing to lose, who can send her these messages and comment stuff and put emojis and negative things in everything she posts. They'll be like, oh yeah, that's what we're doing. All right, got it. I'll do my job. That she's next, cool. So even though she thinks I'd feel a whole lot better, Corey, I'm telling her no. I'm going straight to her and I'm saying no, we're not going to do that because this is what will happen. It happened with Moses. So maybe that's what she needed. Maybe they needed to tell her why we're not going to make any public defense statements. It's because when what happened to Moses, more came. And actually, you can respond to that.
Kubi. I mean, I think even that, I think she's looking for an answer. And even if it's a bad answer, it's an answer. Because at the end of the day, when you're looking for support, help, you're looking for some form of answer, whether you think you're looking for it or not. And I think right now she feels like she has no answers.
So then they should have went to her privately and said, like, look, we can't do it because A, B, and C will happen after that. It's like, we were always thinking about the ramifications of our actions. And we tried that one time and it didn't work out so well. And plus, anyways, that's what
here's a way of diffusing it that Jodie Turner absolutely would not be down for. Here's a quick way for diffusing it. What if anybody, Leslie, Kathleen Kennedy, Amanda, Jodie, any of one of them acknowledged one, and I mean any of the very detailed complaints to the storyline that was made, if they admitted that they had made a single mistake in all of the creation of Acolyte, if they have gotten front and actually copped to anything that went wrong in that series, and we know it went wrong because of how long it took to shoot and how expensive it was. We know things went wrong in there. If they had comped to anything, don't you think that maybe Star Wars fandom probably would have been a little bit more accepting of their place in it, at least? But the kind of gaslighting of it that is, well, every criticism that we got was coming from a place of bad faith. The only reason why the show failed is because there was a bunch of alt-right misogynists out there that wanted us to fail, which insults all of us as viewers.
I believe that they did do that shield, that if you're hating on the show, it's because you're racist, and that's like a shield that they're doing to avoid accountability. But there was truly racist things that were said, and I just want to talk about them, not the tactic that they used.
Yeah.
And if we go to those YouTubers, they're sophisticated, they know the terms of service, and they've never breached it, as we learned like a month ago. Those, like, the Big 10 YouTubers.
I guess I just don't feel like Jodie Turner got that much more hate than somebody like
Ahmed
man,
Best.
what is her name? Jesus Christ. Tiana Paris. Monica Rambeau did after the Marvels. And I just didn't see a whole bunch of people saying, there was, it's so racist. The fandom is so racist. The Marvel fandom is so racist. And that film bombed equally. You know what I mean? Like, I understand. We all know that there are racist parts of these fandoms, and they exist perpetually. But it's like you get to bring that up as the boogeyman whenever you have a failure and let that be the excuse for all of it. And it's just not fair to us, right? The next time an actor gets to claim racism as their shield, it'll be more effective because now Jodie Turner's experience at Lucasfilm, right? And what she's expressing. So now where do we fit in as a consumer there? How do we get good content from Black actors in Lucasfilm that can be critiqued like good content at Lucasfilm without having to climb this hill of whether or not it's racist?
That I don't have an answer for.
Or me.
Like, we all deal with racism. Racism is the reason why Black Panther isn't on screen right now. Let's just say what it is. We all have to deal with that. She doesn't get a pass out of racism, and we all deal with racism. That is not the reason why the show failed. And it's like they're standing behind that as the decided reason, and it continues to frustrate me because your boy oh man, I'm forgetting everybody's name now. What is Jar Jar Binks? No, Jar Jar Binks.
Best.
Right? Had a beautiful comeback in Mandalorian in the middle of a shit season. In the middle of a shit season, he was a bright spot. Right? Like, it's just not the same for everyone. And if it was just a flat, Star Wars fandom is racist problem, then why didn't they boo Jar Jar Binks out of there the second time when they were actually showing his face like they did the first time when he was CGI'd to hell?
Let me click on 3 from Liam. Bro, stop with the say your show is trash and we won't be racist and misogynic towards you. That's problematic as F. Then he says,
that's not what I said.
This convo is giving spineless as F. Same spineless shit that supports a light-skinned man in a dark-skinned role. The community is washed.
Sam, you all the way lost. You don't know where I'm at on any of those issues. You want to call in? Give him the link. Since I'm spineless, give him the link. Put the link back in the chat. Come on, Liam. Because now you're just talking. No one is saying it's an excuse, Marcus. Not on your head. I bet it echoes. Come in, grace us with your voice, Liam. It's easy to type.
Then he said, that's a horrible analogy. We all deal with racism, so she can totally deal with being treated like trash. You're
being obtuse. You're being intentionally obtuse. I'm saying that her facing racism on her job is not an excuse for her being bad at it. I'm saying she doesn't get to hold up, hey, our show failed, and I wish Lucasfilm would have done better with it failing because of all of their racist fandom. There are other Black actors that survived in Star Wars, right? And I'm not saying she deserved it. I never said she deserved it. We are calling out the racists on here by name. We said Ryan Cannell's name. You want me to say Nerdotic? Who else do you want me to say? What is the drinker, whatever the fuck his name is? Who else do you want me to call out? Why haven't you hopped in the chat? Has anybody gave my boy Liam the link? Where are you?
He has the link, and I put it in it's in there. It says, y'all don't want me up there. I will get everyone demonetized. LMAO.
Yeah,
all right.
Waiting.
No, that's it.
Oh, man. Everybody.
I'm not even going to click on your next thing. Like, if you told me, oh, my mic doesn't work, I have issues, then, I'd have to believe you. But nah, you're hiding. So we're not even going to look at you anymore.
Come talk.
Was anyone going to add to it, though? Like, we're good on this one? Jodie Turner-Smith? All right.
Do better. Act better. Be in better projects. Racism is not the reason why this shit failed. I'm just not about to stand on that. I am sorry she experienced racism, especially the same way I'm sorry she experienced racism like Moses Ingram.
Yeah.
Saint Ahmed Best. Never want to see that. Have never stood by anything like that. It's not one the same. The majority of the criticism she faced was around the show being shit.
So now he says, "Oh, I'll join." Okay, sure. 1 sec, pink bitches.
Well, hold on. Let's not make it
Hold
plural.
on,
Let's not make it
please
plural.
don't make it
Hey, man.
plural. Do
Because
not add me in
my
this,
mic has
because
been muted. I've been an observant
Ooh,
person. So let's not make it
please don't
plural.
add
Let's
me,
keep it
because I don't
singular.
even know you, and I
Keep
will
your things
gladly make it
direct.
be known that I
Keep them
don't know
direct.
you like
Raymond,
that.
who said that? Who said she deserves racism? I'm saying she is mischaracterizing the criticism that she received. Y'all want it to be that. Y'all want it to be that. Y'all want to protect her so bad that she doesn't have to get criticism for being shit in a shit project. Like this, y'all want to make it all about the racism. We talking about 5 channels that talked about this in a racist way. And y'all want to make the entire thing, the entire acolyte discourse about racism. If that's where y'all want to be at with it, then stay there. Liam, I'm still waiting on you, brother. I'm still waiting. It don't take that long to click a link.
This is
Why
not
are you
towards
still
you,
talking?
Corey
Why are
and
you still
Darius.
typing? Stop typing. Get in the chat.
It doesn't take that long. You click the
It
link,
really don't take that long.
and then you say allow permissions, and you let your microphone be used. You don't even got to put your face on, Liam.
My bad, Raymond. I'm still just saying, like, it's not. She doesn't deserve racism. Since I need to clarify that for folks again. She doesn't deserve racism. No one does. Racism was not her biggest problem on Acolyte, and I'm tired of that being the center for Mandela Steinberg. It was anti-LGBTQ and alt right wing. For Jodie Turner, somehow it ends up being a whole totally different type of hate.
He's here. I'm just gonna say keep it PG and please respect our channel. You said you're not gonna get us demonetized. Just watch your language, please. Hi.
Can everyone hear me?
Yes.
Sure can.
So what do we want to talk about first? Like, what's the first discussion that you want to talk about? I'm ready.
Well, I heard spineless and pink bitches, so I was just wanted you to come on and be able to say that out loud, with your chest.
Yes, I said spineless and punk. It was an autocorrect, but punk bitches.
Got you for sure.
Also,
and what was that referring to? Spineless because of what?
I'll literally excuse bigots all the time on here. I'm not talking about you, Darius or Corey. I'm not talking about y'all. I'm talking about Chill and
Who's
Mark.
the bigot that I excused?
Literally excuse big. Y'all take these articles that are talking about racism. They're talking about racism. They're not talking about valid criticism. Nothing about valid criticism is said in these articles at all. These companies are not trying to take out valid criticism. They just want the racism and bigotry to stop. That's it. They literally just want all that done. That's what the Variety article was talking about. That's what all these people are talking about. They're not talking about valid criticism. Valid criticism will always exist and is always welcome. What should not exist and is what's not tolerated is racism, bigotry, homophobia, and it even expands on that when you're in multiple communities. Amanda is Black, but she's also a queer woman who goes by non-binary pronouns, which makes her more of a target, just like she was a target this summer during the Acolyte. If y'all go in her comments right now, her comments are like vitriol and terrible. So yes, when Amanda spoke like on that whole video that people took out of context, once again, Amanda wasn't saying my.
Wait, did I take that video out of context at all? Or was I in here saying I agree with her and this has nothing to do with fans and criticism and this is
No, not you, Chill. The bigot excuser.
And I was talking about how this is directly in response to the end. We can't hear you when you're talking.
He's not talking about you. He's not talking about you.
No, you want to talk about me? Okay.
No, you want to talk about you. Let him finish.
I made sure to make sure End Wokeness Twitter account was who this was directed to. No,
he wasn't talking about you. Let him finish.
My bad, Liam.
Okay, I was gonna wait till everybody finished. Like a teacher for some reason, but we all grown. Anyways, like I was saying, in her video, Amanda wasn't saying my show got canceled because of racist and everything.
I think that's exactly what she said.
No. Can I finish?
That's precisely what she said.
We all grown. We don't have to talk over each other.
You're right.
Thank you. Be civilized. Amanda was saying, since my show got announced, it was targeted because of vitriol. when that cast was announced and they saw that number one, it was majority female, and also the star was a lead of color, an actress of color, a black woman leading a queer black woman at that, leading the show. Yes, they targeted her. Amanda was first and foremost saw all of that. She's the one who was on the receiving end, not us. She was on the receiving end of all that vitriol and hate. So to come on here and say like, no, girl, your show got canceled because it was bad. We all know the Acolyte was bad. I watched the show. I know it was terrible. I did not like the Acolyte at all.
I don't know if you realize this or not, but you literally just agreed. Yeah, we know your show was canceled because it was bad. So then that's what we're talking about.
I didn't say that's what Amanda said though. I strictly said Amanda is talking about a whole different situation. Not once did she mention that her show was canceled because of it. She's just said she wasn't shocked. She said her reaction to the whole situation was she is not shocked about this, like her show being canceled. No ifs, ands, or buts about it. Like,
don't you see how when you back that or when you follow up our show was canceled?
Hey, chill, you gotta let him finish because I want to be able to actually respond to him in depth. So let him get his full thought out. Go ahead, Liam.
But yes, as I was saying, Amanda is not blaming nobody. She's not putting the blame on the show being canceled on anybody. Sure, she probably knows her show was bad. All she's saying is she wasn't shocked. She's saying her reaction. Her reaction to the whole situation, I'm not shocked. My show has been targeted since the beginning, since it was announced. I'm not shocked that it's canceled now. I'm not shocked that it's off air. She's not saying that's the reasoning. She's just saying that she's not shocked. That's all that the video was saying. I watched the whole video. I watched it multiple times because even though I didn't like the Acolyte, I agreed that I wasn't shocked when the cancellation came out. I was like, well, the show was bad, so that, I mean, I see why it's canceled, but also I literally first saw this show getting canceled with the backlash it was getting. Like, I was just like, this show is not going to last past one season or whatever. And then going to the John situation, personally, I'm just like, I'm sorry. I fought the actor. I fought the studio. I fought the casting director. I fought it all because number one, like, I'm sorry. I know y'all feel differently, but if you're an actor, I feel like you should be able to decline a role if you know you personally do not match how to act, like the character is. Zendaya actively takes roles for like biracial, light skinned and white women instead of going after roles that could be occupied by darker skinned actresses. Same thing that Amanda did when she was offered Shuri. She auditioned for Shuri, but did not take it because she knew she was a lighter person. So I'm not saying y'all have to fault Aaron. Just like Raymond told me in the chat, he wasn't going to fault him. I do because I have that right to do so. But I feel like it's a very slippery slope. Like you were saying, Marcus, it's a very slippery slope. You do it once, and all of a sudden it starts appearing everywhere and allowing it and seeing other Black people allow it. That's the crazy thing. You're seeing other Black people allow this. You see Black gay men allowing it because they think he's fine. You see all these other people allowing it because they like light skins and everything. You see white people and non-Black allowing it just because they don't understand the concept of colorism. And they obviously like know they basically see all Black people as the same. And so to me, I find it just crazy how anybody could like possibly defend it. I'm not saying like you got to watch the show. I'm not saying like no one has to like not support it or whatever and stuff like that. But I feel like that's a slippery slope. But yeah, those were my comments on both of those topics. Responses?
So on the Acolyte and Amandla, right? Because we sat on here and we watched the video as well. When you set up the conversation the way she set it up, right? She initially came in reacting to the cancellation of the Acolyte. That was the premise of the video, right? And immediately starts in to the vitriol that she receives. Can you not see how someone could easily draw a correlation or see how she is drawing a correlation in between the alt-right hate that she was getting and the cancellation of the show? Hey, I'm here to talk about the cancellation of the show. And the first thing I mentioned is the alt-right vitriol I got from the onset of the announcement. You don't see how she is centering that as the core of what drove the cancellation, or how a reasonable person would think that's what she's saying. Now, I'm not in her mind. I don't know her intentions, But I'm just saying, just speaking reasonably, if I say, hey, I'm here to talk about the cancellation of my show, and the first thing out of my mouth is, hey, all them alt-right people over there was on my back the minute I showed up, doesn't that sound like that's what you're blaming? Even if that's not what you mean, isn't that what it sounds like?
That just sounds
I'm,
like
I'm gonna keep going. That was rhetorical. With the show receiving hate before it ever came out. Again, this is something that we had on a 33 burning questions before the Pantheon even ever started, right? Talking about the rumors of whether or not the Acolyte was ever going to make it. At that point, I had no idea who was casting the show. We were doing this years ago, talking about the Acolyte, talking about Patty Jenkins' project, whether or not Taika Waititi's movie was ever going to happen, whether or not Rian Johnson was coming back to shoot another sequel. We've been talking about Star Wars production for a lot longer than the common Star Wars fans. I didn't lose you there, Leo. You still there with us?
Oh, I'm putting a shirt on. Y'all good?
Oh, for sure. No, you good. You guys want to make sure you're still there. So we kind of was already into what was going on with the Acolyte. It wasn't a whole lot of Amanda Steinberg. In fact, we didn't know Amanda Steinberg was in the series until Star Wars Celebration last year, when we got a first look at who the cast and crew were. The show had received plenty of vitriol, plenty of hate, warranted and unwarranted, before we even knew that she was in the show. So once again, we're bringing the focus of criticism that started well beyond anyone ever knew you were there, and centering it around all the races. Now, you and me, clearly we on the same page about not wanting to highlight racism. So why is it that every time we talk about the Acolyte, the only thing that we can muster is how misogynistic and racist the response was? Why is that the center every time we have to talk about this show? And I'm not saying that Jodie Turner or Amanda Steinberg are not warranted in their feelings towards the reception that they received from the racist. I am telling you for sure that they found far more credible criticism to focus on and chose to center that because that protects you. Because that you put that up and nobody actually has to hold you responsible for your part. When you're saying, hey, we faced racist criticism, we faced an uphill battle that no TV show should have to face, and leave it at that, then who is going to blame you for the outcome? Who's going to blame you or anybody who is associated with you or on your side for the outcome? That is all I'm saying here. Nobody, we can take the racism and put it right here and we can agree on it, right? Like it's never okay. She shouldn't have to deal with it. And if there was anything that could be done to stop it, it should be. It's unrealistic to think that there is, though. And for her to get her, Amanda, or whoever else, Leslie has done it at times, to find a way to always pull that back into the center feels like it's a soft excuse. And that's my honest criticism. That doesn't mean I don't feel for her and what she went through. It just feels like it's more convenient than what they're leaning on.
And I don't agree with that. I don't feel like that's what they're leaning on. I feel like Amanda is just speaking from her experience. She's faced anyone who goes through a racist situation is gonna like dwell on them going through a racist situation. If like somebody gets called a nigga by a white person, they're gonna talk about getting called nigga by a white person. If somebody like gets mishandled by a white person in a racist way, they're gonna talk about that. Amanda was at the receiving end of misogynistic hatred, racism, homophobia, like queerphobia and all that. So like, yes, she's speaking from her experience because that's what she dealt with.
You think this is the first time she's gotten that?
On this bigger scale, yes. On this,
I'm not talking about the scale because Lucasfilm is the biggest studio she's ever worked for. I'm asking, do you think she's ever experienced racism or misogyny or homophobia in her work?
Okay, so are you essentially saying women?
No, I'm just asking. Do you think she's experienced it before?
Are you saying so? Since women are women, they should just be okay with misogyny?
No, that's not what you're taking me in a place I'm not going. I just want you to answer my question. Do you think she's experienced misogyny or racism or homophobia before in her work?
She has. Why can't she speak about it now?
No, I'm not asking. Well, first of all, she's only speaking about the racism, misogyny, and homophobia she's experienced at Lucasfilm, no other studios. That's where I was going.
Exactly.
So
Because
I'm saying, why was it not? Because we've also never seen her fail at something this big either. So why wasn't it? We know that she's experienced racism when she was doing The Hate They Give. She talked about that on Trevor Noah, right? But I didn't hear her blame an entire customer base and their reception for the racism she received during the Hate You Give. I did not hear her say that all of the audience for The Hate You Give was very racist to me. I didn't see her say that there were a bunch of alt-right watchers in the audience for Hate You Give. She was very specific about who she was criticizing. Right now, they still exacerbated it. They still blew it up, and they still tried to kill her for it. But her response was very different than what it was to this acolyte stuff. Was it not?
separate. It's like literally a whole separate situation. The hate you
How? We were talking about racist reception.
literally a majority black audience versus Star Wars that is on a global scale, and you have incel nerds in the fan base.
So
Like,
racism is only racism when it's to an exacerbated scale. It's got to be big enough to matter. If you receive a little bit of racism in a black audience, then that's acceptable, and we don't really got to call those people out. But if it's a big audience and a wide audience, we absolutely have to call that out, and that's the reason.
Well, but I feel like you have a hard time like understanding points.
Maybe, bro. Maybe.
Yeah,
Maybe
like,
I'm having a hard time.
I feel like
Maybe.
it's so easy to understand what I'm saying, yet you're having a hard time computing it.
Okay, ask somebody else on the panel. Maybe I'm being dense. Is anybody else picking up what he's putting down?
No.
Corey?
I'm listening. What was the last part? I'm sorry. No, I am listening. I am. I'm reading these. I'm reading the comments and I'm listening to y'all. I'm kind of going back and forth. What was the last thing that was just said?
Do you recall her going on Trevor Noah and talking about the hate mail she was getting behind the Hate You Give? Right. Okay.
Yes.
Do you recall her having the same type of response to the audience, right, for the Hate You Give, even though that project is what sparked whatever hate she was receiving? Do you think her response was similar to what she gave on the Acolyte when facing the same type of criticism?
Yeah, she's pretty much the same in that part. I mean, I thought she was.
Bam, you didn't say it was the same. You said it was a completely different issue. How can you claim? How you gonna turn your head and claim that? You didn't claim it. You said it was a completely different issue. My bad, Darius. Continue.
Oh no. I just
Add Marcus.
My thing that I've said from the beginning with the Acolyte is I don't think that, and I mean I've said this from the beginning. I don't think the show was canceled because of racism. I think the show was canceled because it was just not a good show. It didn't do the numbers and things like that. Even though people say it did the numbers, whatever. And just as a Star Wars fan, I'm not shocked. I mean, and I'm not even going to take it down the route of a Star Wars fan. We've seen so many shows not get greenlit after second seasons or whatever. But this is one, in my opinion, that really does not deserve a second season at all. But I've said others too. I just recently talked about Obi-Wan. Ewan McGregor said he wanted a season 2. I said, fuck no. I mean, I don't agree to it. So, but I don't think that I don't think racism is why the Acolyte was
what would you have Lucasfilm do to protect Jodie Smith-Turner in this instance? What would you have them do, Liam?
Myself?
No, Liam.
Personally, number one, you should be releasing statements of support for your actors. If Marvel, when Chris Pratt was getting hate for a church that he was attending, can reach out to all their actors and be like, hey, show support for this man. He's one of our leading mans. We need to back him to show that he's a good person. Lucasfilm can do the same thing. Also, it's the same situation as just being an ally in real life. Just be supportive. Show that you are not backing these racist idiots. You need to be out there showing that, posting them all the time, putting them on big. Also, it goes back to just making your projects good first and foremost if you're going to use diverse talent.
But that's what we started this whole conversation with, Liam. That's what I started this with.
I'm going a little bit further. I'm just saying you can actually be an ally and actually support your talent. Call those fuckers out. They are being racist. They're being problematic. And just tell them that that's not welcome here. And I mean, sure, they can still be out there like doing all that stuff. But at the end of the day, if Lucasfilm did that, Jodie and Amanda would be able to say that our studio defended us, though.
Calling.
Or even do that. I can say the same thing about Marvel too. Marvel jumped at like trying to defend Chris Pratt, but when it comes to Brie, when it comes to Iman, when it comes to Tayana, when it comes to even Elizabeth, they just let them fend for themselves. Yet, when it was one of your star actors, white actors at that, you were ready to jump the gun to defend him because he was getting homophobic allegations about the church he was attending. But when Brie gets misogynistic comments, and Brie being until like last year or until earlier this year when Robert Downey Jr. won, Brie was the only Avenger that had an Oscar, yet she was getting all the backlash, vitriol, hate, and everything. But Marvel didn't want to defend her. Marvel didn't want to defend Tiana. Marvel didn't want to defend Elizabeth. It's all these studios. Same thing. It's like allies. Support your people.
Supporting them and allies, all that stuff, that was fine until I heard what you said and you got specific. Naming names, calling these content creators out, makes them the official opposition. It validates them. It adds to their audience. There may be people who don't even know who that is. Let me check them out. I like what they're saying, actually. And you may have focused on them and give them more spotlight than you didn't want to give them, growing them.
When you and McGregor came out.
One thing that I will agree with that was said earlier that is true that I've seen obviously thought about before, but was really sitting here thinking about it when it was said earlier. Just the fact that I don't know what way you would do it, if you don't do it publicly, I don't know any other way to do it. And I don't even know that publicly is the right way anymore, just because you go back and you think of Moses. I mean, I go back to, if I'm thinking of my tweets during that time, I remember retweeting you and being like, thank you. I'm so glad somebody, but when you also go back and look at that situation, it's not like that got better for Moses. I remember Moses took an absence from Instagram.
They allowed She-Hulk.
So I don't know what the best way would be.
Into the show. They allowed She-Hulk to put somebody echoing. They allowed him to write a character in there to mock the Doom Lord guy, the Doomcock guy, and it's like they blew that guy up. I mean, he absolutely exploded after that. There is a double-edged sword to calling out what I believe in my heart of hearts is a niche part of the internet on that type. Leave that shit to us. We do that. You ask Marvel to put Nerdotic in a movie, that is the worst possible situation for anybody who hates that individual. It is. It's terrible. To even have them mention his name is not what you want, because it's going to have the opposite effect. I don't know if there's a more effective way for them to do support other than bringing up the smallest, dirtiest part of your fan base, like the doldrums, the corner. You give them more power by emboldening them that way.
Yeah, whoever's comment just came across the screen, they knew exactly what I was saying. They ate that up. Shout out to them. Like Scooby something. Yes. Scooby Lucci Doo. You ate it.
We can't ignore the racism. I don't think anybody's ignoring the racism, I don't think anybody's ignoring the racism.
Can we stand behind them and show support? But I and Marcus and Darius we all see the negative outcome, like the repercussion, the fallout from showing support is that you popularized we don't want.
I will say for me personally, now I'm not the big studio. I'm not Lucasfilm. I'm not. Now me personally, I'm gonna support. If I see something hatred toward like Jodie or hatred towards Moses or something like that, or any other actor of my color, I'm going to support them. I'm going, I'm Issa Rae. I'm supporting everything black. And but now when it comes to like the big company, again, that goes back to the conversation of I don't know what the right approach would be, because again, it takes it back to the Moses Ingram conversation. I just remember that sister taking a long absence from social media, even after you and even posted and said what he said.
She should, because she shouldn't have to deal with that mess.
And
I'm completely agreeing with that.
So do you agree? No, never mind. Go ahead.
Oh, I was done. You can go ahead, Chill.
I was gonna say, I wanted to hear what you had to say. If you publicize those 10 YouTubers, bad, we got, all that stuff, and they do operate within the terms of service, someone might watch them and the first thing they'll hear is, racism is bad, but that doesn't guard you from being criticized. Someone might watch that and be like, yeah, that's kind of right. Oh, I like these guys. They're funny. They have fun. I think popularizing them has a negative effect. So that was my retort. What do you say to that?
Popularizing as in like promoting those channels?
Literally mentioning their names, make someone want to click on them and give them view.
I agree to that. Because as I always say, something I don't give energy. If I don't give a fuck about you, or I'm not giving you energy, I'm not. That's just me.
Well, I have all those channels blocked, so they don't come across my feed anyway.
You're not the people who I'm talking about. I'm talking about the people who have no idea they exist. And yeah, they're bad and they're negative and all that stuff. Lucasfilm will say, we don't like that channel, that channel, that channel. They give the list. That only thing that does, or one of the things that does. And it was just too high.
I don't have to like even call them out like publicly. Like many of these channels make up news stories about plenty of these actors and actresses. Like these channels constantly make things up about Rachel Zegler. They make things up about Brie Larson all the time. They make fake thumbnails of them, sexual thumbnails as that. You can literally send them cease and desist. Like you can send them all types of things just because they're making up misinformation, like defamation of character. It's as simple as that. They don't have to call them out publicly. Take their
telling you
side. You're a business. Y'all know how to play dirty. It's like y'all act like y'all never played dirty business before in these corporations, and it's like, do it. If somebody was to say something like very like wild against your company, you'll be quick to snipe them. But because these people have like millions of subscribers and stuff like that and a huge following, you don't want to say anything because they're a customer base. And I mean, I get that. You want all the money you can get, but at the end of the day, my standpoint is just basically morality. I'm not talking about the business side of things, because if you want to talk about the business side of things, I can bring a business hat on. I have a
Do you know? So you're familiar with Star Wars Theory?
I've never watched his channel, but I know he.
You know of him?
I know. Yes, I know he's swapped to the grifter side of things.
Well, that's what I was getting ready to ask you. How do you feel about that whole situation? Chill is of the thinking that the Star Wars Explained people pushed him into grifter land.
I feel like if you're able to be pushed in the grifter lens, you are already headed in that
go there.
I
said that. Yeah.
I feel like because that's just like, Coy Jandro. Coy was just talking. He's always on the Real Rejects channel. He's on Christian's channel, Christian Harloff and everything. He was talking about today how people who like Agatha are pissed in his comments every time he says in the video that the show's just not for him. And he was talking about how he understands why grifters make the content they do, because people are going to hate anyway. And I'm like, Coy, if you're about to start making grifter content just because of a few people, you already were headed in that direction. It's like you already think a little bit right wing. You already think a little bit like those people. So now you're thinking about this whole situation of becoming a grifter. If you don't believe in those aspects, I don't think you become a grifter.
I was more so coming from the aspect of I didn't like how they weaponized their subscribership against them rather than engage in how we engage in right now. Like if you really had a problem with with wherever his perspective was coming from, it's easy enough for you to test your metal versus his on one of your platforms. But the whole let's organize multiple channels to try to get him demonetized and take his content down, I felt like they turned it into a bully pulpit. And so now that's kind of what we're talking about with doing with some of these other channels, which I'm not going to lose any sleep over them. It's just that, do you expect Disney to stop at them? You expect them to stop the channels that you want them to shut down.
Expect them as two different things.
Yeah, yeah. I don't know if I want them to have that type of power to shut down a voice, because it's even if it is going against their actors, because now what if I have a problem with one of their actors for a legitimate reason and they need to be going after? Well, now they turn the machine on the same way they just did for Jodie Turner for me, and it's at their discretion. It doesn't always have to be for something that we want it to be or something that we find just.
Out of curiosity, what makes you say Theory has gone to the grifter side? Because he streams with Nerdrotic in them now?
Yes. Well, not only that, like the way his content is set up, like there is another Star Wars channel out there, and theirs is strictly just on the
content of Star Wars.
Versus his is always about what this actress said, what this actor said, why they said this thing that pissed off.
Okay. Okay, I can see that. Okay. That's why I was curious, because I've been watching Theory. I mean, Theory is the biggest Star Wars channel on YouTube. I've been watching Theory for a long time, and there was a point where it was strictly Star Wars. So I was just curious because it's not, where it once was.
Some of these channels try to ride a fine line, and not necessarily like saying like a fine line between being a grifter and being not, but a fine line of they won't call anything in their video or say anything like woke. They won't say this. You have the critical drinker. I used to watch the drinker. Drinker will be like the message and all that. Like same thing that Theory doing.
Yeah.
And things like the message, things like the thumbnails, they're all obeying YouTube guidelines. What you ask for Lucasfilm to do, get these guys reported and banned, they cannot do that because they are operating within every single word of the terms of service.
Oh, I don't say get them. I mean, I'm a report regardless. I report people on Twitter all the time. I get people's accounts suspended. If I don't like what you're saying, I'm going to do it. But YouTube is a different situation. These people have millions of subscribers. Drinker has millions of subscribers. I'm pretty sure Geeks and Gamers has plenty of subscribers. All of those accounts have plenty of subscribers. That's why I said you send your cease and desist. You send your defamation of character lawsuits. You can send a lawsuit, and it doesn't even have to be a public lawsuit. I mean, I'm pretty sure grifters will talk about Disney is suing me. Why do I disagree? I'm pretty sure you're going to get those videos or whatever, but that's why you do it like less publicly. You don't have to add these people. You don't have to even mention my name. You send them that cease and desist, they either comply or don't. You send them that defamation lawsuit, comply or don't.
You better ask Jaguar Wright.
The defamation, that's such a different thing. Jaguar Wright and how hard and how focused and how everything was about Jay-Z and Beyonce. That's for sure. These guys on the internet, it's about the character. That's not defamation.
I'm gonna say one thing before I have to hop off because I gotta get up for work very early. I get Liam and Marcus' side. I feel like if you're going to be a big company who wants to check these certain boxes and put actors and actresses in these situations, even though they know that they're going to get some backlash, there needs to be some type of support for when they do, but how to go about it. A plan, exactly. Yeah. But I also agree with Darius, I don't know how you would go about that because there should have been a plan in place in the first place. But I also agree with Marcus and Chill as far as a company strictly or specifically going after a certain group is obviously not realistic and not going to be a thing. But there should have been a plan of support for these said actors and actresses that are being put in this situation, especially if you're trying to check these boxes, whether it's Lucasfilm, whether it's Marvel, whether it's DC, whatever. If you're trying to check the boxes, Black woman, LGBTQ+, whatever it is, there needs to be a plan of action for when it does.
Marketing exists, y'all. She's having problems. There's a bunch of fans on her back. Put her in an acolyte watching party in a theater full of raving Star Wars fans. Change the narrative.
Right.
Change the narrative because again, I don't believe the majority of people who are watching this
But
show
also,
was
but
on
that's
the
the thing.
racist tip of like, oh
I
shit,
don't.
look at this black woman in Star Wars. I
But that's
just,
the thing. I
you
don't
know,
personally follow Star Wars. I don't personally follow this actress. But if she's already came out before and said, "Hey, I know the show failed because the show just wasn't good," versus after the show comes out and says, "Oh, hey, I experienced these things," I don't think that's her blaming the cancellation on her experience. I think she's just saying like, "Hey, you put me in this situation. You put me in front of all these people. You're checking all these boxes, and I'm telling you I'm having these experiences now, and now nothing's being said and done." And I think that's where she's coming from. Now, at that point, that's where I agree with you, Marcus. At this point in time, there's really nothing these companies can say or do because it's just going to backlash either way. So there should have been a plan of support. But how to go about that, I don't know. Do I think they probably have an idea because they have probably been in this game for longer than they should have because it's Hollyweird? Yeah. Yeah, I really do. It's 2024. Like,
they think about this show. Disney, they don't own Variety, but they own Variety. They don't own Insider, but they own Insider. They own the narrative. That
right.
those publications will print what they want them to print. So if we're going this angle with this article, it is because that is the angle that Disney okayed. That is the access that they allowed them to have on this subject. So it's something to pay attention to, especially when we're talking about these trades where there is definitely organic oppression that happens to black women in this country that cannot be overlooked. And then there is also weaponized oppression that people use for clicks and engagement, right? Because it is a hot button topic. The demographics are what they are. They set up nicely and it's an easy play. It happens. And so we can't delete that from the consciousness when we're looking at this stuff, especially dealing with a platform like Variety. It all goes in together. So if we're earnest about Jodie Turner and her feelings and her experiences and things we went to, we can at least question the motive of a publication like Variety and where they're coming from in this angle at all.
Oh, I
I
question
don't
them all,
disagree with
and
you.
for the simple fact that of how they dressed Todd Phillips versus Nia DaCosta on their flop movies. Oh, I question the outlets all the time. It was y'all was flaming and trying to throw Nia under the bus, but with Todd Phillips, it was like, cheer up, guy. Everyone has a flop here and there. You'll survive. Weird, very weird, very weird. But with Nia, it was, we heard she left set. We heard she did this and that and the third.
She left early. Yeah, she derelicted her duty. She didn't even finish her job. I remember that.
I
Yeah,
need
I
you guys
remember that
not
one.
to agree because he came in here too hot. You're going to go on my channel and you're going to type the word Amanda Stenberg Chillmonger. There's a title called Stupid Comments with a Progressive Mask. In that video, I talk exactly about what Amanda Stenberg did with the Shuri role. You're going to read the description right here. I hope I'm sharing. Amanda Stenberg declined the role of Shuri. She was correct about her skin appearing too light for that region. Somebody named Flo Hypnotic141 used my comment section to start racial fires. He never considered what those from a place in the middle of the world with border security would look like. I did a whole 8 minutes and 33 seconds talking about this comment section and explaining why Amanda Stenberg did something awesome by declining the role of Shuri. You were not telling me anything I don't know. You can check it out. I can put the link in the private chat for you, Liam.
For me,
It's for you. It's for you. Something you brought up earlier. You were like, "Oh, Amanda Stenberg." I commend her for not taking the role of Shuri.
Real quick, I just want to say goodbye. Sorry, I'm jumping off early. I literally have to be up at like 4 o'clock in the morning.
All right, Corey.
So,
I don't think you're
Yeah.
early. We're all late.
right. Thank you guys for having me as always. I will be here next Thursday. As you can see, I low-key got my life together. Liam, nice to see you in person. And Darius, I'll catch you on the flip side.
back to you, chill. Anyways, I didn't say you didn't know anything about that. I was just saying, like, straight up, like, that's the situation at hand. Like I was just stating like as is. I wasn't saying like I'm not saying anybody doesn't have experience or doesn't know about like the whole colorism standpoint. I'm not trying to question y'all's knowledge about that whole situation. I'm just strictly stating the facts of the situation and what these people are talking about versus like that.
I don't want to throw anything at Aaron Pierre, any sort of hatred, any blame, anything. I'd rather just look at who James. Sorry, I didn't hear what you said because I was talking over you. What did you say?
I said I will, but for the simple fact of, I mean, just decline the role. You were already on the roll with Rebel Ridge. Like I could have sworn you probably would have gotten a lot of things out of that. The way that people were talking about Rebel Ridge when it came out, like he would have gotten something, and then we would have actually gotten a dark skinned John Stewart, inappropriate. And also, I put it all to this: if James didn't want a conversation of colorism or any type of backlash going against this casting, he would have casted a dark skinned actor.
Okay, so there's my finger points at James Gunn. My finger points at the casting decision, because if they didn't go with Aaron Pierre, they could have gone with someone else like light skinned than usual with a British accent, because that's a proximity to whiteness. The focus and the attention, the finger point is at James Gunn, and I'm not doing that to Aaron Pierre. That's not what I'm going to do. It's what I never do. I try not to do, is to try to go after people of Aaron Pierre's descendancy. That's not my focus here on YouTube.
That's a tough ask, man. It is a tough ask. Like, he knows, especially he's a black Brit, so he gets it doubly. He probably understands that criticism,
the privilege.
But it's a hard ask to ask him to turn it down. Like, even though I would want him to, and I would want to see somebody else there, I understand it. You're getting ready to be probably on a 5, 6, 7 year deal with Warner Brothers.
Yeah,
idol character.
I feel that, but at the same time, I have to think about this. Like, and just put yourself in this brother's shoes. We don't know his financial situation. We don't know anything about him besides what he shows us on screen. How do we know that whatever they showed him on that check wasn't going to change his entire current situation? We have to sometimes stop thinking so like, oh, I would have done this, I would have done that, because we are not in these people's shoes.
Right. That's what I was saying. Like,
somebody offered me millions and millions and millions, and I'm in a situation like, because I personally in my life right now, if somebody's brother, fuck whatever you else got going on.
Give me the bob. You know what I'm saying? Give me the backpack. I'll be Dora.
Y'all would make the same decisions as me. Personally, knowing my skin color, I wouldn't be in the room to begin with.
Same.
I would not be in the room to begin with. Y'all see my skin color. I am bright. I'm very high yellow. I would not be in that I would not be in that room because I knew I do not look like John. That's like me showing up to the casting like for T'Challa. Does T'Challa look like me? No, not at all. That wouldn't make sense. I just wouldn't be in those rooms.
Me too.
And I would say maybe Aaron shouldn't have been in that room, but he was. So,
hey, like I said,
what if they sought him out specifically? Like, what if they recruited him? Would it change it at all?
Weird.
That's weird. Okay.
Weird, because it's like, why specifically?
I agree with that. That is weird.
Role.
Well, for me, I think James Gunn probably thinks most black people look the same.
They all think black people look the same.
I think he got Aaron is a hot name right now. I think he was on a short list, and let's just keep it a buck. That the idea of existence of black people just kind of is a dissonance for a lot of whites. So I'm not expecting them to have the shades of black people and matching the shades of black people very high on their list of priorities. It's not as surprising at all that James Gunn dropped the ball on this. That there wasn't someone else within DC that looked at this. It didn't say, "Hey, yo, James, let me holler at you real quick." Like, dude that's playing Mr. Terrific, or anybody else is on the staff.
Yeah, who's DC's Nate Moore?
Like, Nate Moore. He went to Happy Hour.
That's why I personally feel like there should be either a black person or somebody of color in the casting department, just because like that helps a little bit. Because in my personal opinion, I don't think you can trust white people to cast characters of color. They're gonna view things through a very racist and most often colorist lens. And I'm not saying it's a thought of, oh, I'm trying to do racist casting or colorist casting. Some thoughts are just inherently colorist or racist, regardless of whether you think they are or not. And like somebody wanting a light-skinned person to get a dark-skinned role is a colorist thought, whether they think it's colorist or not. And so I feel like it would help if you have like for instance, I know we all feel some type of way about like Ryan Coogler and stuff like that with Wakanda Forever, but I feel like had he been in this situation, John wouldn't have been light. I don't think
Would
so.
Ryan Coogler have cast Aaron Pierre as John Stewart?
No.
I don't care to entertain the what if. It's kind of like not why we're here.
Yeah, but wasn't Ryan one of the ones that greenlit the British speaking in Wakanda?
Yeah, oh yeah, let's run that back.
That is
The
weird.
British colonial accents in Wakanda. Yeah, I don't know about that one, bro. I don't know. I was halfway there because I was like, visually, yeah, he's usually very good. His
I
lens
feel
is
like
great.
in that case, then he would have just gotten a dark-skinned actor who was British. I don't think he still would have casted a light-skinned T'Challa. Like, you would not see a light-skinned T'Challa at all. And I think if he had been in charge, you wouldn't have had seen a light-skinned John Stewart. John Stewart would have been dark-skinned.
We got
I
a
feel like
darker
that would have
skinned.
been a thing if a black person was in the casting department in general.
Namor Kukul Khan was darker than what Namor's supposed to be.
But the reality of all of that when it comes to the casting is we are still just not there. We may have come a long way in progression and checking boxes and whatever, but we are still not there because as a whole, I know this is going to sound cliche, but they still look at us as, I saw this on Twitter, nigga is nigga. I mean, they look at us the same. They're not, they're not looking at us as, oh, well, he's light skinned. I actually use this all the time with my nephew. My nephew's mother is white, and her sisters don't understand the fact that he's black. Like they got him an airsoft, which I played with airsoft guns growing up, but they got an airsoft gun, and he's all outside with, and I'll take it here, take it. Understand. This is not a white little boy running around with an airsoft gun that looks very, very real. This is so we all look the same, and they're not looking at my nephew as, oh, he's high yellow, so we're kind of gonna arrest him. We're gonna get no. It's that whole talk of what is it? Just a drop.
The one drop rule.
One drop. I mean, so they look at us as the same. So that conversation of this casting, we're gonna have this conversation again. We're going about another actor in another role playing another dark character that they I mean, it's gonna continue to happen until there are people in these spaces that have the like-mindedness that the rest of us are, have been having or coming to or whatever. So this is just another iceberg.
Like, and Darius, this is a conversation you were having yesterday on yesterday's stream. It also falls on the fact that many comic black comic superheroes, most of them are colored dark skin. There's not really a lot of like lighter skinned characters in comics.
That's true. Mm-hmm.
Like when I was growing up, I think like right around like that 2011 era, like when Miles was introduced, was like my first time with like seeing someone who was actually like biracial, like different. And even Miles was dark skinned at the time. And so you don't have that many. And so when you have these like lighter skin actors growing up, you're like, oh, okay, maybe I can play that black character. And I mean, now I have the understanding as an adult that I wouldn't fit those types of roles and stuff like that. But I don't fault like Aaron for thinking, hey, maybe I can. Because that's like when James first got announced as head of DC. Cuba Gooding Jr.'s son, Mason Gooding, was like, hey, James, I'd be a good John Stewart or whatever. And everyone hopped down his throat because he's a light-skinned biracial.
Right.
I could have sworn just a few seconds ago, I don't fault Aaron for thinking, hey, maybe I can. Was those words that came out your mouth?
Yeah, but there's a person called Zendaya who said, I'm not going to take roles where darker skinned actors can be there. So now I put every light skinned actor in that position.
I think you're doing a
because
poor job. I think you're doing a poor job of accepting my points, actually, because that was the point. It was.
That's not my job.
Yeah.
What's that?
It's not my job to compute to like get your point, especially if I don't like agree. Like Zendaya was saying that when she was fresh off of Disney Channel.
Yeah.
she literally was fresh off of Disney Channel saying, I don't go after roles for that, like that a darker skinned girl can do that. Like Zendaya said, her rise to fame after Disney Channel was showing up on red carpets looking bomb, so that way her name would get out there and people will remember her. And it worked for her. It got her in these rooms. There are other ways to go about getting big without stepping on darker people.
Okay. You kind of had the opposite position on the same thing when it came to Aaron Pierre taking the casting. Third time to ask you, what is your position on Aaron Pierre taking this casting? And blame. Does he take any blame for it?
Yes, like I said.
Now you changed. Do you realize that you changed?
Tell me where I changed to. Tell me where I changed.
For it?
Excuse
me. At first you were against it, I should say. And then like right now I quoted you because you said, you guys can rewind like a minute.
I think you may have given him, you might have understood why he thought that he could play it. That's what you was like. I understand.
That's all I'm saying. That's all I'm saying. My whole thing is it's a nuanced situation. It's not just a whole situation of black and white where you're flat out wrong. It's a wrong situation because it's a colorist casting. But I grew up watching Justice League, the animated series. Like I watched Jon Stewart. He was one of my first black heroes I got to know as a young boy. And not having like light-skinned characters in comics, because hey, comic colorists are colorists themselves. They color all black people the same skin color.
Okay.
And it's like, of course, I can understand that. But we're human beings. We have the ability to decide things. We have the ability to turn down certain things. We have the ability to weigh our options. And I mean, maybe he weighed his options and he was like, yeah, that's not for me to decide. But at the same time, if an actress that just got off of Disney can do it, if Amanda can do it in regards to Shuri, why can't Aaron do that?
So there's something that's unique, I guess, in between those three, or I guess unique to Amanda and Zendaya that's not to Aaron. Do you feel like the fact that Amanda and Zendaya are biracial plays anything into that? Do you feel like maybe they are, I guess how I say, like their relation, somebody else said it in the chat, like their relationship with blackness is a little bit different, or maybe they feel like that's their way of, I don't know, closing the gap or whatever, what have you. Or maybe their way of standing in solidarity as an ally, as you said earlier. Like that's your.
I don't really think it affects much, just because of the simple fact is, I think black people as is pick and choose which biracials they want to accept as black and which not. Like most black people accept Obama as being black, but certain people they don't like are biracial. I feel like black people that's just a thing we do. We all pick and choose who we want, whether we like them or not. If we like them, they're black. If we don't, they're their white side.
Yeah,
no, but I'm saying like for them, from their perspective, do you feel like that's something that they're like, all right, well, look, I already got this conflict with being half white, half black. At least I could do is take this extra step and make sure I'm not in even more conflict professionally. Whereas Aaron doesn't have that same type of inner conflict. He's black through and through. He doesn't have that same type of I'm white, but I'm black at the same time.
I agree. I don't think they view it that way, though. I think they view it, like, for instance, I feel like Zendaya views it as, I grew up around black people. I have like black friends. I have black people in my circle. I know how hard it is for people who are darker, and I want them to get the chance to like actively get in these roles. I know if I take like a black person's role, there could be a darker skinned actress that could fit that role even better.
One thing is that there's no role Amanda Stenberg or Zendaya were offered with the number of zeros on the Jon Stewart paycheck. I still don't okay with it. I commend both of those women for their stance, but I also don't crap on Aaron Pierre. That's my position. We're not.
You don't have to. I'm gonna do what I want because I have morals I want to stand on.
Nah, you kind of flip-flopped.
No, it's just having a nuanced opinion. There's not going to be like one side to everything. I understand why Aaron might think, oh, I can be cool for this role. But at the same time, hey,
Is that what you said? You said I understand why Aaron would be cool with the role. That's what you were saying. It wasn't
Why he
flip
would
flop.
think he would want to. That he said that's what he said. Yeah.
Yeah, he did say that.
Okay with him taking the role. I
Got
can
it, Leon.
understand
I apologize.
the thought process. That does not mean I'm okay with you doing. Like, I can understand the thought process of somebody committing a crime. Does that mean I'm okay with them doing the crime? No.
Got it.
What's next?
The hosts of the show do the next segment, or do you guys want to call it quits because it's pretty late?
We got one more. We doing the Cat 4 test screenings.
Yeah, we can do it because I saw Brother Stark saying he wanted.
How about to say, Brother Stark been asking for that for about 30 minutes. That's about the last one I got in.
Well, we got some super chats also. Maybe we should address those and read them out loud. Lucasfilm might not be calling out racism to not fuel negative headlines for a franchise they're already losing money on. If they produced a quality product, I bet they'd defend it at all costs.
That was my point of saying they made it, right? Like this is their work, and if they've already hit the point where it's kind of a loss, they would rather get it out of the conversation as fast as possible. And fighting with, a certain segment of the fan base only keeps the conversation, the negative conversation going. That's where I was going with that.
I feel like it's kind of like ever since it be like the whole grifter thing of making money off of like these people and profiting off of like their demise, I feel like it's just hard for any conversation to lead now. As long as people can profit off of it, the conversation is going to stay in the zeitgeist now. That's why Brie Larson continues to still get hate. That's why Rachel Zegler still has people in her comments like talking crap about her. That's why you have situations with Amanda. You have situations with Moses. Like, as long as people can profit off of these like people, it'll continue to happen.
And then Michael gave us one more. He said, a light-skinned black actor is progress, though, because back in my day, an actor had to wait around for The Wiz or Blackula in order to be represented. No, I think after 2018 Black Panther, I will accept no more compromises because we didn't compromise and we got a very financially successful movie. Everything hit. Everything that we wanted, we got. I mean, not everything, but everything we wanted, we got. So after that, it's like, don't hit me with, this is progress. Now we can do it. At least
you took it back to the Wiz talking about process or progress. Jesus.
So no, Michael Nemo, I don't want to do that and go like, well, at least. Just get the casting right.
Is that the end of the super chats?
Yeah, we just got 2 from Michael. It's cheapskate. Mike with the $10 and the $5.
Thank you, Michael. Much appreciated. Okay. Very long-winded topic.
Liam, I appreciate you coming up, brother. Usually people talk crazy in the comments and we don't never hear from them in person. So I at least appreciate you coming up and we were able to have a civil conversation. So I appreciate that.
Well, I want to back up what I say, but I'm glad y'all opened the discussion for me to come up and speak my piece. And I hope we can do this again because
sure,
even regardless if it got heated, I had fun.
For sure. Respect.
Thanks, Liam.
Y'all have a great
always.
Time.
So they said keep Liam on. Keep Liam. Yeah, keep Liam on. Liam was good. It was fun. Yeah.
Liam's been a long-time viewer of mine. I want to say Liam's been here when I first started. Always opinionated. Yeah. I feel like one of the reasons he has stuck around on my channel as a viewer so long is because we do agree and are like-minded on a lot of things. There are times where he has come into the chat and we've disagreed, but for the most part, like I said, I love having Liam around as a viewer. It's been here for a while. That's why I was shocked when Cornelius said he was wondering what his socials was. They've both been viewers of mine for a while. So, but like I said, long-winded. conversation. I like the fact that we did have an open conversation. Those conversations are always welcome. Always. I know one of the things about those conversations, I don't ever want people to look at or take away. I don't want people to go away from these conversations like thinking, oh, now I hate this individual. I have beef with this individual. If you can't have a constructive adult conversation and then walk away from that said conversation, still with respect for the other person, have a civilized conversation, then maybe these spaces aren't for you, because those conversations are going to happen quite often.
Sure.
All right, Cap 4. The screenings. It was put out today by a couple of the scoopers that the screenings for Cap 4 have been abysmal. Somebody had put out that Captain America Brave New World is reportedly receiving very poor test screenings. And the last thing that we heard about Cap 4, not going into it at all, because I don't want to spoil anything for anyone, was the plot leak. The plot leak was not positive. It did seem from some people that said that it was a more positive, or not positive, it seemed like a typical MCU film. You got your typical MCU humor, your 5-minute fights, this, that, blah, 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 blah. So they've shown some test screenings for Captain America 4, and they said that 2 different cuts of the film test screened last week. And plot details for one of the cuts has leaked online. That's the leak that we read on the channel that day. It says the person who attended didn't seem like they liked the movie all that much. Based on the folks that have spoken, that I've spoken to, those who attended, who were either given a red or green bracelet and were split up into 2 different theaters. The reactions I've heard have not been very kind to this movie, which is being described as inessential and flat. Ugh. Inessential is not good, and that's one of the things that I said here going into Cap 4. It was never, like we all agreed, it was never about Deadpool. It was always going to have to be about Captain America 4, and the hearing that it's inessential is not a good tag on this film.
Deadpool and Wolverine were inessential but not flat.
Oh, I agree. Deadpool and Wolverine were inessential, not flat. But this film, I don't think can afford to be inessential. And then it goes on to say, you can read the leak plot points above, or if you don't want things to get spoiled for you, here's an official synopsis that was unveiled in July. Now, this is something that Marvel put out, so this is not a leak to anybody, so don't think like you're being spoiled. After meeting with the newly elected U.S. President Thaddeus Ross, played by Harrison Ford, in his Marvel Cinematic Universe debut, Sam finds himself in the middle of an international incident. He must discover the reason behind the nefarious global plot before the true mastermind has the entire world seeing red. Reshoots on the Brave New World happened in August. This could explain why 2 different cuts were shown last year after receiving negative test screens in another screening. I do remember that. And Marvel themselves underwhelmed by the early cuts they saw of the film. Brave New World was delayed till February 2025. Extensive reshoots were called, with three major action sequences having been filmed between May and August 2024 in Atlanta. Brave New World had originally wrapped filming in June 2023 and was set for the July 2024 release date, but it's now turned into the monstrous mess for Marvel. You just don't push a movie this big out of your calendar and decide to dump it in February unless major trouble is brewing. Last December, Matthew Orton, who was hired by Marvel to pin the additional scenes and material. Orton's work was shot during the summer of reshoots. They also added new characters to the story. That was one of like Sidewinder and some of them. Giancarlo as Sidewinder at least. Will audiences even show up to Captain America movie that doesn't star Chris Evans? And then it goes on to say when it's coming into theaters.
Like they said, dump it in February. Don't do the spin Black History Month. No, this is February. Movies come out in February for a reason. Jonathan Majors' magazine Dreams is coming out in February because that's where you dump the movies.
Speaking of magazines, or Jonathan Majors, not magazine Dreams. Speaking of Jonathan Majors, you guys might remember what the last Marvel movie that got pushed to the first quarter was?
Oh, that was a Quantumania.
This is not a good look. This is not a good sign at all. First quarter of the year is where they slate their films that they don't have high expectations on. That's where they put Black Panther in 2018. That's where they put Ant-Man 2.
No,
right?
That was the July release.
No, then what was
Black Panther?
February?
Black Panther was the only February movie they've ever done.
2018. So then Okay, so then no. Okay, I'm wrong. I'm wrong
Quantumania.
about that one. It would have been Ant-Man and the Wasp, or Quantumania, Ant-Man and Wasp, Quantumania, and
Captain Marvel came on
Can
March
we not?
8th.
Can we not? I was going to say, can we not just consider Captain Marvel February?
March 8th, but that was the International Women's Day, sort of the same spin.
I think it fits the premise that we're putting up, a movie that they didn't have high expectations for. They didn't expect
Not
it to hit a
MCU,
billion.
but Madam Web came out in February.
The first quarter of the year is people are coming back, they're going back to school, they're getting back in the swing of work. Like, it's not a heavy, hey, let's go sit down in the theater time. It's a place that you can hide a problem if you're a studio. You got a film that's not doing so well that you don't want to give a whole bunch of attention. Don't put it in the spring when everybody's going outside. Don't put it in the summer when everybody's excited to see films. Put that shit in the first quarter of the year when it's rainy and snowy and nobody's leaving to go see movies anyway.
Yeah. No,
So it's not a good look at all.
It's not, but this is also coupled with which I now am more inclined to believe, the plot leak, which I never really disagreed with the plot leak anyway, because when I read it, it lines up with what was revealed at whatever con they showed, where they showed the clip. It lines up with the trailer, and it lines up with other things we've heard about Captain America: Brave New World. Even the stuff about one of the post-credit scenes and how it sets up World War Hulk and stuff like that. Well, I believe that because at one point in time, She-Hulk was in this film, Scar was in this film, Bruce Banner's Hulk was in this film to help Sam take on the Red Hulk. Now what we're hearing is that they've had to nerf the Red Hulk in order for the fight with Sam to even make sense, which is something I was worried about from the beginning, because I was like, what is he doing with the Red Hulk?
So
Why is he
serum then? No serum.
No, he has no serum. He still does not have the serum. He is still a regular man.
Okie dokie.
Fighting the Hulk. So if they're saying that we do know that they did those reshoots in July to try to beef it up more, to add some more action scenes and things like that. And let me just say, those action scenes that they added had nothing to do with the Red Hulk. If we're to believe it, the rumor, it's only that fight is 5 minutes long. All those action scenes were to add Giancarlo and the Serpent Society and those blow up scenes that we've seen with Sidewinder in the trailers. But Red Hulk, there's not a lot of that. So that's why in the beginning, when they said that this was Winter Soldier vibes, I never believed that. I mean, I never believed that.
Never.
And then the people that were online saying after the trailer, oh, that trailer definitely gave me Winter Soldier vibes. You didn't believe that. So I'm not shocked that this film is not going to do well. I'm not shocked.
The last thing you said was it won't have Captain America in it, as in Steve Rogers in it, but it's called Captain America. Will the audience pay to see that? And that is a question I don't have an answer to. I don't think we've ever had a swap in the head position like this. So we'll get the answer, because we've seen it in comics. People will buy the first comic. Everyone likes the first issue, and they won't stick around. When you're asking someone to make a $4 commitment, when they're already habitually going to the shop every Wednesday, yeah, they'll buy the first few comics. This is interesting, though. Will the movie?
It is interesting.
Yeah.
I mean, it's also interesting because it's also Anthony Mackie. I don't. Maybe I'm biased. Are we big on Anthony Mackie? Can Anthony Mackie really have the star power to captivate an audience?
I
who
think
watched Falcon and the Winter Soldier?
He didn't wow me in the trailer.
Falcon and Winter Soldier, I think they struggled. It was. I don't even know if it was as much him or
it wasn't. It was the story.
Him.
Yeah.
It was a lot that went into that, so it's hard for me to say whether or not he can carry the character or carry the story, because I just wasn't in love with the story. I think in general, Anthony Mackie has been very hit or miss as a leading man.
I think so.
So it is very hard to call on what this is going to look like, and then the early reviews don't give me a lot of confidence either. I think that was some of the calculus with putting so many other factors in here. Harrison Ford, we got Baby Falcon, we got some other Hulk villains that are popping up. It's like there's a lot of stuff that kind of bookend Sam in the event that, he kind of falters a bit, carrying the load, but he's still going to have to be the guy at some point. Like it's not going to be enough for the supporting characters to hold him up. he's going to have to lead the film at some point. I don't know what it's going to look like.
And then they'll shoot Secret Wars after
Hmm.
February, or Doomsday after February. So his performance, the way that the movie grosses money, that's going to impact how many scenes this guy's going to have.
What's
No,
wrong
we
with you,
didn't
Sam?
like him as Tupac.
What is wrong with you, Sam?
See, and here's another issue. Not even for Captain America. This is just a Marvel issue. Right after that, you have the Thunderbolts. So you're coming off of the heels in February of Captain America. Then you're expecting people for your summer blockbuster film. And maybe you're gonna have. I'm be honest with you. For me personally, if you put Captain America in one hand, Thunderbolts in the other, I'm going to see the Thunderbolts. I'm not going to see Captain America. I'm gonna go see Captain America, but if I had to choose between the two, it's Thunderbolts. I'm gonna go see.
I'm not high on Thunderbolts either.
I'm not high on it either. I'm not. That's sad. I'd rather the two piles of shit in my hand. Which one do I want to dive my face into first?
Do I want to see a nerfed Red Hulk or a nerfed Sentry? Like, I can take a nerfed Red Hulk. The guy who's playing him is 80. The nerfed Sentry thing is it's a wasted villain. I don't know why we're using him.
They released the for Falcon Brave New World trailer right as Deadpool was in the movie theaters. So the 1,000,000 or 1,000,000,3 or however they grossed, a lot of people just also saw the Falcons. And they're like, all right, there's a new movie coming out. I'm a casual. I'm not like Chill and Marcus and Darius. And now I know what the next Marvel movie is. They might have a pretty good bump because of that. Might. I don't know. I'm lost. Michael says he was hoping for an Isaiah Bradley series, as I've always liked Carl Lumbly. That would have been nice. He was already a superhero in Mantis and, of course, Buckaroo Banzai. I didn't watch those movies. Or are those comics? What is that?
Mantis sounds like Mantis, the Guardian, Star-Lord's sister.
Yeah, I don't even think Patriot's in this. Well, he's not even Patriot. Eli.
Oh yeah.
Oh, he's not even in it.
I can't say. He's not in the trailers. He might be in it. The brother. I mean, he's not like a high-profile actor or anything. He might be in it. He might be.
Okay.
If he's not in it, does that mean that they scrapped Young Avengers?
No. And that's the last thing that I will bring up. That is the last thing I will bring up. Is obviously last night's episode of Agatha. I know y'all aren't watching Agatha all along.
No.
The episode itself, I could give a shit about. I don't care about, like, there were things that happened, like we saw Agatha's mom as a ghost, and she possessed Agatha, and all that shit I didn't give a flying fuck about. But I'll tell you what, that Wiccan shit, because it gets us one step closer to Children's Crusade, something I have been saying it's coming since WandaVision. Brother, I'm excited. Yes, they are. Yes, they are. Here's the thing. Here's what's rumored right now for the Scarlet Witch. And some of this we've kind of known. They've replaced it a lot. Right now, Wanda is going to, obviously she's not dead within the MCU. She's not dead. It's rumored right now that she is going to have be in a relationship with Dr. Doom's, with Robert Downey Jr.'s Dr. Doom, which makes sense because in Children's Crusade,
bypass the whole Wonder Man thing.
No, I think they're going to do the whole Wonder Man deal. I don't know how that's going to happen because his show has to connect to Wanda in some way.
So how does that lead to her being with Robert Downey Jr.? They about to turn Wanda into a
well, like I said, in Children's Crusade, after the events of House of M and everything like that, she had went to Dr. Doom for help. Dr. Doom manipulated her and all this kind of shit, blah, 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 blah. And I think that's what they're going to do in the MCU. Doom, from what we understand, Tony Stark's Doom is going to be after Magic, who's one of the most strongest magical beings in the universe, Wanda. How do I manipulate her? She wants something. I can tell her I can help her get something. I don't know, something like that. But in the comics, he marries Wanda. Him and Wanda are in a relationship, But remember, Wanda also at that time in the comics, that's after Avengers Disassembled, after House of M. She's broken. She doesn't remember a lot of shit, blah, 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 blah. I think that's how they're going to have it happen in the MCU. Also, to give Wanda Elizabeth Olsen her redemption arc. What better way to take out the very big bad of the saga than have her do it after decimating and killing as many as she has killed? And I still don't view Wanda as a villain. I think she was well in her rights to do what she fucking did in Multiverse of Madness. I know people disagree. Yes.
Darius, what?
I can see that though. I can see that. She
Yes.
as wrong as it is. Okay, fine, Marcus. No,
No, go. I want to hear
you
the
changed my
explanation.
mind.
I want to hear the explanation.
I don't want the pushback, Marcus. I think you're going.
No, tell me why Wanda was right. Somebody explain it to me.
Okay, not that she's right, but
she's right.
Do you think
she's right? Oh my God, yes, she's right, bro. Listen, do I think that she, you know, was within the right to hold those people hostage in Westview and things like that? No, but do I think that she was within her rights to want her children, fake or not? Yes. Because
so
they were real to Wanda.
Kidnap them from another version of herself in another universe. Children that don't know her. They're not cognizant of her at all. This is just some evil witch version of my mom trying to kidnap me and kill my actual mom.
And I'm not saying that that's okay either. I'm not saying that they're going to a different universe and getting other kids. Marcus, shut the fuck up.
I was just asking if all that was cool too.
Wait a minute, that's not what I'm saying.
What about going to Shangri-La and just wiping out all the monks?
Hey, bro, she told Strange, get in my way. Get in my way.
Warning: she's okay to murder any amount of monks that she wants.
You are now in between me and my children. You are now between me and my children. I understand that you guys don't think that they're real, but they're real to me. I can hear their voices. I can see them. I can go get them from another universe if I want to. I understand that she was wrong within the, you know, trying to kidnap these kids, but Wanda has children.
But she
has children.
She could have found the children in the world, because she can go to every world possible. The world where the children just had their mom die, she could have popped in and be like, "Hey, I'm mom." So she could have done that instead of taking someone who's, you know, Scarlet Witch. They have a Wanda.
Go find some kids that need you, Wanda. not somebody that got a mom.
That was her being reasonable, Marcus.
She was definitely being reasonable.
Y'all are nuts.
She was definitely being reasonable, because she really could have. She really could have took Carmitage down. Say, look, I love what she said to Steven too.
Being reasonable.
I watched the man I love get a hole blown through his head.
Okay.
And she said, now you're asking me to be, she's like, you know, you just met her yesterday and now you want to protect this girl. I'm just asking you to give her to me so I can go get my kids. And how hypocritical of Strange. Like she said,
she was going
like
to
she
murder
said,
America
how hypocritical, fuck America, how hypocritical of you, Strange. Like she called him a hypocrite. You are a hypocrite.
Why? Because
what?
Because who did he sacrifice for as a means to an end? Who did he do that to?
The stone.
No, not the stone. Oh well,
that's what she was bringing up. She brought up the stone. Yes,
but he killed half the people because he knew killing half the people would be the only way possible to have all those people come back and actually live. Wanda was not making a calculated decision for all mankind. She was making a decision for her own selfish motivations.
And she was in a headspace where I can forgive her for going to those extremes. Like, she lost her children.
Okay. Yes, I can definitely forgive her for going going. Yes, I mean, how can you not? She was grief-stricken. She lost her brother. She lost her mother. She lost all of her friends. She lost her husband.
Not to extrapolate this to real life, but like, what if your cousin was one of the monks at Shangri-La and he got murdered by Wanda? Are you trying to hear any of this? She just lost somebody nonsense?
Of course not. I'm not going to be trying to hear that. But from an audience standpoint,
but it's different monks right now. I'm with Wanda.
I see Wanda's point, bro. Like she just went through so much in WandaVision, and then like, you know, one of the scenes that I really love is when she threw the.
They were a figment of her imagination.
Stop
in her
it!
universe, they weren't real. The children she found in another universe was someone else's flesh and blood.
I understand that. Listen, okay. I'm pretty sure they're still going to try to somehow tie this to Mephisto. So,
okay,
if that is true, no, you don't think they're going to tie this to Mephisto? There's too much evidence, and you're not watching Agatha. But there's too much evidence in Agatha that point towards it.
That wasn't the plan. Maybe it is now.
I think so. I think they're still going to do that. But
they were pretty adamant about making fun of people who said Mephisto was coming back then. So I do think it was a pivot. Yeah,
definitely. I agree with that. It's a pivot. I think they're going to try to tie this to Mephisto in some way. And if they do, then those damn kids are parts of Mephisto, which do then make them real.
What were they at the time that she was running crazy in Westview and then Shangri-La? What were they at that point,
Keep
Darius?
saying that. I think you mean Camertage, right?
Karmatage, sorry. I was saying Shangri-La. Karmatage.
That was their Wi-Fi password, right?
They might have been reality warped, but to her and
It's probably a teapot and a pillow is probably what them kids were.
everybody, they were tangible to everyone. Everyone could see them. You know, like, I don't know. I feel for Wanda, and I like her. And to be honest, I like the villainous, crazy Wanda route. I hated in the comics how they tried to make it seem like, oh, she tapped into the life force and that's why she did what she did in House of M. No, I like the fact that she was just fucking crazy and she's like, no, I have kids. Fuck you. I'll kill you all to get to my. I like that. I love that story with Wanda. I love that story with Wanda, and I love the fact that none of them can stop her.
She banged out and disappeared, just like she did in this movie. Like, oh yeah, no more mutants, and then I'm gonna just hide. I'm gonna just go somewhere.
But she was with Doctor Doom all that time, and I love the
we
part.
didn't know that, did we? We didn't know that for a grip.
So now, with them trying to do this whole tying her in, or doing the Scarlet Witch movie is supposed to be an adaptation of Children's Crusade and Avengers Disassembled. So,
well, they've already disassembled.
Well, that's true. so if they do that whole thing with Doctor Doom and all that, it does make sense. It makes sense. I like it. That last night episode ended with him actually being revealed as Wanda's son, Agatha figuring it out. And I loved the fact when she figured it out, because you could see it. Catherine Hahn's doing an amazing job. You could see the moment she realized, holy shit, I know who you are.
Hey man, you like what you like. You like them crazy.
I like the crazy Wanda, man. I like the crazy Wanda. When she showed up at Comertage, that's my favorite scene in Multiverse of Madness. When she told Stephen Strange, when she threatened him and told him, I told you what would happen. Bro, I love that shit.
She said, next time you see, it won't be Wanda. It'll be the Scarlet Witch.
She said, now this is me being reasonable. Boy, stop it. Yeah. Stop it. And she was within her rights to do that. Fuck Steven. Fuck Steven.
Squatted up on her ass. I don't know why he went to the monks only. He should have called Bruce. He should have found out where the hell Carol was at. Like, why are we doing this on our own?
Because hey, Nick, none of them
have a ship or something, a carrier somewhere. Help me out.
Nick could have brought 10,000 helicarriers. None of that was stopping the Scarlet Witch.
None.
Where the hell's Carol when you need her?
She decimated the 838 Carol. She decimated the 838 Carol. Why would this Carol be any different?
That's 838 Carol. No, wait, no. That was what's the name's mama.
Well, she was still Captain Marvel. She was still Captain Marvel.
She ain't do nothing. Speaking of Captain Marvel, where was Photon? Why she ain't pop up? What were you doing?
She didn't have her powers yet. She was still learning.
Even if Photon would have showed up,
they might not have been great, but she had them.
Man, when you're dealing with somebody in casual conversation that can say what mouth, none of them are doing anything with Wanda. None of them are doing anything with Wanda.
We're not gonna pretend like Wanda is like just the only, like she's just the biggest bad now. Now Wanda has gotten a few times.
Yes, she has. She has
been bested a few times now.
We're talking comic Wanda.
Yeah.
Okay, now MCU Wanda
has also been bested a few times.
She has, but not as the Scarlet Witch. She bested herself as the Scarlet Witch. She brought that temple down on herself.
What do you think happened? Do you think she dreamwalked as soon as that temple came down to like the universe where Dr. Doom is right now, where the Robert Downey Doom is, and that
I don't think she's specifically. I think Doom is looking for her. I think Doom is going to find her. I don't think she's specifically looking for Doom right now. I don't know where she went at that after that. I have no clue.
We know she's not under rocks.
Go back she's not under rocks. Time and take her right before the statue comes down or something like that. Since he's obviously going to have the ability to change universes, he comes into the 616 at the exact moment that Wanda is about to be crushed, pulls her through. That's enough of an explanation for the audience.
And with him being as charming as Victor is supposed to be, you've got, it's easy for, and Wanda being as broken as she is, it would be easy to manipulate someone like Wanda.
Oh, this is a good one. I like this one, Scoop. You ever wonder if a time traveling Cap Steve Rogers suddenly appeared and saved Wanda? I wouldn't be mad at that because he also wouldn't have the context of what is going on. He would just see Wanda about to be crushed and save her instinctually.
Yeah, there's that too.
See that? It'd be perfectly random. Now they don't do stuff like this anymore. They don't really connect newer projects to old projects anymore. It's not really a Easter egg heavy office over there in Marvel, but I would definitely like to see something like this.
Yeah, it's really that easy to get Steve Rogers as Chris Evans. You just get someone from the TVA to go to him in his little home that he's living with Peggy, and you pluck him out. That's it.
Yeah, I mean, and like Chthon could have had something to do with it too. Chthon is rumored to also be in the Scarlet Witch film, but I'm excited. I mean, anything with Wanda, I'm all for. I think that's one of the best things they've got going in the MCU right now is Wanda. I mean, anything with her. That's why I'm here for Agatha. I don't give a shit about that other shit going on. I couldn't even tell you the trial they just faced in that episode. I don't know.
I'll see it. I think I might have to catch up this week. If you're saying it's watchable, and
it's watchable.
I'll give it.
It's watchable.
I'll give it my attention. It'll only take 3 hours, I guess, because I've missed all the episode, most of the episodes. How deep are they?
They're 5,
and they're long
6.
episodes.
30 minutes.
All right, yeah, I can finish that up, and
they're not. I commend them on trying to do the scary. It's okay. We see you trying to do the scary. It's not scary, but I commend them on the trying to make it scary, with the whole possession and stuff like that. It's a good. That is a good example. It is Marvel's Hocus Pocus. That's a good one. It's Marvel's Hocus Pocus, and it's like I don't know. It's nothing to write home about. It's just it's fun with the Billy stuff for me. He got his crown this last episode. You saw the blue. He's throwing his magic. I'm like, okay, I like it. They did the whole slow back deal like they did with Wanda with her when she was the Scarlet Witch. And like I said, Catherine Hahn is really killing the role of, because the whole interaction. The dialogue last night between her and Billy when she found out I know who you are. She never said Wanda's name. She just said you're exactly like your mother. It just like the shit was dope. It was dope because it just the callbacks. That's one thing I love about the MCU. Again, like Star Wars, the poetry when the shit connects like it's supposed to. When I can say, oh, I know where that. I know what we were talking about. I know where that goes, and like that shit I love with Marvel. I love that when it's like. When it's disconnected and it's been like it has been, I don't care about it.
But it feels like it's connected according to your reports. However, I know that WandaVision was written with the follow-up being Multiverse of Madness in mind. So this is like, yeah, maybe they are connecting it, but since they didn't plan to connect it from the beginning, I make them lose points. But then why am I doing that? Why can't I just accept that there is a new 3-arc plan with Wanda that she'll do this? I'm sure Wonder Man will do something with it. We're seeing her in Doctor Doom. She'll have her appearances in Avengers. Yeah, maybe I should be more accepting of this new plan. Oh, Vision Quest. She'll have an appearance there, I guess.
Yeah, possibly so in Vision Quest. Yeah, we should get Speed in Vision Quest, and a few of the other young Avengers. One thing I will say, though, I don't want a Young Avengers film. I don't think that... I know that that's basically Children's Crusade, but I don't think that anything after that, if you're trying to do... And maybe I could be wrong. Maybe that...
Don't we need a live-action Miles for Children's Crusade?
No. That was like 3 years
wasn't in there?
No, okay. Miles is not in that one. You do need a Kang. You need a Kang. Now, how you do it without Kang, without Iron Lad, without the I'm not sure. You need the X-Men.
You need no more mutants, House of M.
You need Magneto.
Okay. Ooh. But see, it's too they've done too much Wanda stuff to say that. I was gonna say like Wanda subconsciously did it when Pietro died or at Sokovia or something like that. But like there's been too much Wanda related stuff for her to have had that type of big impact and us not know about it. It would kind of feel like the the mutants were here all along kind of thing. Like it's
Mhm.
just too convenient.
You need a Hulkling.
You need Hulkling.
They'll probably replace him with Scar.
I hope
Oh, yeah.
not.
Replace him
They,
with
they got
Scar.
asked about that. Kit Connor, who stars opposite of Joe Locke in their Netflix show Heartstopper, got asked about, have you seen the fan castings? There's been long time fan castings of you as Hulkling. And his response was, I know he said he hadn't seen them. Bullshit. I know I hadn't seen those. But I think people would get sick of me and Joe being in everything together, starring opposite as lovers all the time, blah, 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 blah. I don't know. I guess you would maybe if you watch Heartstopper,
I don't even
then
know what that is. So
it's a Netflix show. So maybe if you watch Heartstopper, I guess you could say you could get sick of them as seeing them together. But I, for one, if they were going to cast a Hulkling, I think it is Kit Connor, right? I think that's his last name. I believe he fits that mold pretty well, especially since they're not going to have Joe put on any muscle.
Oh, Kid Connor's muscly, yeah.
Yeah, I think he fits the Hulkling. Yeah, Heartstopper is a very good show. It's a very good show. Coming of age show.
Comedy drama.
Kit Connor.
20 years old from United Kingdom.
He has a Hulkling face.
Yeah, I'm telling you, he looks like Teddy when he's not in his scroll form.
For sure. Definitely, I see it.
And
Yeah,
why
so
are
I
we
think-
saying they need this, they need that, they need that? They're going to adapt what they want to take, and then they'll freestyle the rest. Yeah.
Before we get off, who do you think, if they do, because I saw what Raymond said he actually really wants a Young Avengers team, who is that team within the MCU?
Well,
America
everyone who's
Chavez.
young right now. Sochi Gomez plays America Chavez. We got Kamala
Cassie,
Khan,
Kamala,
Riri.
Kate Bishop.
Kate,
Probably.
Riri.
Which I don't even know if that works as a Disney Plus show, to be honest with you, because you're taking some of the worst performing Disney Plus shows and trying to make a mashup television show with it. So it definitely doesn't work on the big screen.
That roster's stinky.
I
I don't like that.
They got some work to do.
Yeah, I didn't like that roster. That's a stinky roster.
Well, even the main Avengers is a stinky roster.
Stink is
Yeah.
trickle down stink.
You throw in Kid Loki, throw in some of those guys in there.
I forgot about Kid Loki. How would they even get him? Wait, ain't he in the void? He ain't coming out.
He is in the
He ain't
void.
getting out.
He is in the void. Yeah, Scar. Okay, Raymond said Chavez, Marvel, Bishop, Riri, Patriot, Speed, Wiccan, Scar. They're not doing Iron Lad. Introduce Nova and Kid Loki. I would like Prodigy.
Nova is coming out.
The
Nova
Mutants
is
Prodigy?
one of those series.
The Mutant Prodigy was a part of the Young Avengers at one point.
Okay. I remember reading him in New X-Men Academy X, but he made the Young Avengers team.
I was watching
Yes.
X Factor.
He was on the Young Avengers team with Kate Bishop, and I believe at that time they reincarnated Kid Loki.
Reincarnated.
Yeah. So Sam said, "What do y'all want for the Midnight Suns roster?"
Ooh.
No, I want a Blade movie because the enemy of representation is quantity. I don't want to have, you get the Ghost Rider who's Latino, you get the Blade who's from Black.
Okay, fine. We're doing Blade first, and then we're making the Midnight Suns movie, and it's going to be Johnny Storm, Ghost Rider. Do we want the Bloodstone twins in there?
Now, are we talking what we want or what the MCU is, what we think the MCU is going to do?
What we want.
Oh,
The hell
okay.
with
What we
MCU,
want.
Yeah.
Okay.
Bloodstone twins.
Yes, Bloodstone for
You gotta
sure.
do something with Werewolf by Night.
Werewolf by Night. To be honest with you, I would even like. I don't know about this version of Jennifer Kale that they have in Agatha, but I would prefer, like, if we're comic Jennifer Kale, to be a part of the Midnight Suns. And she is related to
Obviously,
Johnny.
Blade has to be in the Midnight Suns.
Moon Knight.
Moon Knight's in there.
Man Thing.
Punisher?
Does he deal with the supernatural?
Okay.
Not Punisher.
Man Thing though, but Man Thing for sure.
Man Thing for sure.
Man Thing. You know, well,
Black
never mind.
Knight? Is Kit Harington still going to be a thing?
Black Knight for sure.
Strange should be in it, but they can't afford
They're probably
it.
gonna go Wong.
Yeah, I'll say
Brother
Wong.
Voodoo
I would like that. That would be better.
then Wong.
That'd be better.
That'd be
than
better
both of
than
them.
Wong, yeah.
That's better than both of them. Put Brother Voodoo in there. Yeah.
Are we missing anybody? If they're going to do a Wolverine-less X-Men, then we can put Logan on the Midnight Suns. I wouldn't mind that. Agatha,
Raymond-
no.
Raymond said Agatha. Now for
No.
the MCU, yeah, they're gonna put her on that team for sure. She is gonna be on that team without question. 'Cause I guarantee
old lady.
at the end of her show, I don't know where she goes. So is it a team up? Is it? I don't know. Yeah, that's about it. I would say for the Midnight Suns roster, there's nobody else that on the spooky side of things outside of villains that they could fight.
Right.
And I think the main villain of the spooky side of the MCU is going to be Mephisto first. I think they're going to fight Mephisto first.
Should be, yeah.
I worry about Sacha Baron Cohen if they're giving him too much. Like if he stays squarely within the Wanda, Agatha kind of arc, I think he could do well. They don't give him too much. If he needs to be an overarching big bad, that just they don't.
Has Sacha Baron Cohen acted in a serious role? A semi-serious. I mean, I would say he has to be somewhat. Now he's got to be evil. He's got to be sadistic.
I think he was in Argo with Ben Affleck. No, that wasn't him. That wasn't Sacha Baron Cohen. I don't know, bro. I don't think I've seen him in anything other than like the Borads or Ali G.
That's all I've ever seen him in.
That type of shit.
So that's why I'm like, we're gonna see Mephisto coming out being like, okay, who's ready?
Okay, I'll take your soul. Huh?
Yeah, I'm just
the dictator. Yeah, he wasn't Sweeney Todd. I remember him in Sweeney Todd.
Oh, he was in Sweeney Todd.
He wasn't Sweeney Todd. He was one of the first guys to get killed. Actually.
Oh, he was in the trial for the Chicago 7.
He was in Les Mis. He
That's
was
a
in
good
the
movie.
musical, so he has good range. I just don't,
Well, they said that. I guess I was wrong. I had been saying for the longest we were only going to see him in his human form. I guess he's going to be going from human form to his demon form in Ironheart. He'll go back and forth, I guess.
Interesting.
I'm very curious.
Play well in China.
I'm very curious what he's going to look like live action. I'm very curious on that, especially with Sacha Baron Cohen playing him. Is it going to be like kind of heavy VF effects, or is it going to be like they're kind of doing with Noel, with Andy Serkis, or is it going to be Sacha Baron Cohen
And prosthetics.
Yeah,
That's my vote.
you want him in the well. Yeah, you like the practical.
I want this thing to look like Supernatural, baby. Get some rubber mask on there, some makeup. Let's do it right.
Well, I heard that Agatha is more economical. They're relying more on prosthetics than the CGI stuff, so it will be a profitable.
Shut up. He's King Julian in Madagascar.
I thought so. I thought that's who he was. I
Man.
like to move it. I like to move it.
I did not know
Move
that.
it. You like to move it.
And we like to do it nice and sweet and funky. I did not know that was him. That's him. He just got points for that. King Julian is a top 10, top 5
Yeah, please don't
DreamWorks
have
cartoon character.
Mephisto out there cracking jokes. Like he does have a humorous hue, but it's like sadistic
Sometimes.
humor. It's
Yes,
like
that's what. Yes,
sick.
yes. It's like a want to play a game type of
Yeah, like how you would
humor.
expect the devil to play with you. You know what I mean? Like
Yeah.
it's not to be joked with. It's not Borat. This is just not
Yeah, no. So
very nice.
that's all I've got. That's all I've got. Anybody else had any questions? Anybody else have anything?
Nah.
About done. Appreciate everybody. Appreciate Liam again for popping on. All the viewers, smash the like button. You know where to find me. Back of the bus. We'll see you on Sunday.
Appreciate
I did
everybody.
well. Yeah, I appreciate you guys. I did well this week. I was actually live Monday and Wednesday.
Yeah.
And today. So I'm going to try to keep that same schedule and be live again Monday and Wednesday and then Thursday. So you'll see me. I have videos, cut videos dropping this weekend and things like that, but I'm not live again until Monday. Unless there's some breaking news.
I should actually have done this a long time ago, but the poll results here for the question, does Lucasfilm have a role in a fight against racism? Yes is winning with 55%. That's what you guys have spoken. 80 votes. Appreciate you guys all for being here. We also appreciate Michael Nemo for the numerous super chats where dude could have just wrote things, but he
yes,
wanted
thank
to
you, Michael. That is very much appreciated. Yeah, and even though we didn't talk about it, I agree with that too. That's my pick. That is my my Batman pick for the DCU.
You know what? I would give Gyllenhaal a chance.
Really?
I would give him a chance. He reminds me of like the younger Keaton, like in the first Batman, or not the first Batman, but Keaton's first swing at Batman.
He wants it. He's wanted it forever.
I would give Gyllenhaal a swing.
43 is a bit old for me, but sure, he's talented.
He is 43. James Gunn debunked that today, though. I guess there was a report that said they're looking for middle-aged, and he put under it bullshit. He replies when he.
We'll see. Yeah, because he could be saying that to throw us off the scent. Like I don't trust the studio exists until something is concrete.
But Darius, he replies to what he chooses to, doesn't he? All this light skin, dark skin stuff, he sees it.
Oh yeah, that's what I was just about to kind of go into. He replies to certain shit. He's not jumping into this conversation. Yeah. Only thing he's done is he congratulated Aaron. Welcome Aaron to the DCU.
Yeah, which is fine, I guess. But now that he's gone through this and he's seen what he's seen on the timeline, he'll probably be more accurate with his castings in the future. Whether it's a dark-skinned character or a light-skinned character, I'm sure he'll get it right.
Yeah. Yeah. Like Cornelius said, he don't care. He's just like, whatever. We're going to make this movie and y'all going to like this shit or not. That's exactly how he's feeling.
Check out Showmonger, especially if you read Storm Issue #1. There's a panel live stream reviewing that. Back at the bus every Sunday. They live stream on Sunday. They got the Behind the Cape coming out, the W's and the L's coming out of the week. I'm sure he's going to talk about J. Cole. Pretty sure that's coming. You and Josh get to give your opinion on that.
Oh yeah, I know Josh will be pro Cole, so I'll have to stomach through that for a while.
Oh yeah. If you want more Q, Corey, Darius, but no Henry, check out Planet Fanatics. You're already in the right place. Josh, take us home.
Hey, I've been watching y'all every single time on Thursday and Friday because I swear to God, y'all switch up every now and then. But rock out. I'm fucking with it. I'm out.
Thank you, Josh.
Appreciate it.
All right, dog.